All right, that's plenty of that. Hey, how's it going? Hope you guys had a great weekend. Sorry I wasn't here Monday. I'll be honest, I fell asleep. I had a long weekend, and it wasn't like partying and having a good time long weekend. It was a long weekend of just doing stuff. Yeah, I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I'm in the process of trying to buy a house, and yeah, we had to go do some stuff, do some looking and talking to people. But the good news is I got a contract. Yay! Oh yeah, I guess you can't see the thumbs up that I'm doing. I guess I'm gonna have to come up with something for that. I'm gonna have to like make models for hands and put those into the software. Like you say, you can't see the silly stuff I'm doing right now, and I gotta fix that. I gotta fix that. We like the silliness. So anyway, yeah. If you're a regular viewer, you're probably like, "Hey, this is really early for you." Yeah, I'm trying something new. Number one, I just don't feel like the afternoons sometimes. I just don't want to do anything. So yeah, figured maybe I'd try it in the morning. See if I get any more views. See if maybe I do better at this. Earlier in the day. So yeah, we're gonna give this a shot. See how it goes. It's gonna be bloody friggin' hot out there today. So I actually don't have any plans other than this for the day. Yeah. All right. So what are we doing? What are we talking about? What's going on? Let's go to news. See what we got going on there. Just, there we go. I'm just covering up the account. This is my other account. I don't like to combine the two of them, but my I just created the Twitch account or the X account for non-combatant NPC. So there's really not a whole lot of stuff going on there. And hey, buddy, woo, moving to San Antone, man. It's gonna be a toasty one down there too. Well, good news. I don't know if you heard me a minute ago, but yeah, we found a house. We up up north. We put an offer in on it. It's got like 5 acres, plenty of room for the horses. I'm gonna have to build a barn, but there's plenty of room for the horses, plenty of room for people to come and stay. So whenever you guys and the kiddo ever come back up to Colorado, you are more than welcome to come stay with us. And yeah, I'll actually text you and stuff. We'll talk about it, you know, off the internet uh, later on. But yeah, glad to hear you're doing good, buddy. Glad to see you're watching. Definitely give our love to the wife and kids. Oh, geez, man. So what's going on here? Uh, Sharing convictions and relationships is toxic. Really normal thing to do in healthy relationships. I mean, okay, so my wife and I, we've been together for like 20 years. We've been married for something like 17. We just had our 17th anniversary, but hope she's not watching this because she might have something to say about me forgetting how many years we've been married. But we have been together for like 20, 21 years, and it hasn't always been perfect, but we work things out, we communicate, which I think is the most important thing in a healthy relationship. But that one thing that we don't we don't deliberately share location with each other. Like I don't, she doesn't have a link specifically to the location app on my phone, and I don't have that for her. Now we do, if location sharing is available on a device, we do let each other have access to it, but neither of us like cares, like as long as because we talk. That's the other thing, we talk. I know what she's doing, I know where she's going, I know who she's hanging out with. If there's something, if there's an emergency, she'll get in touch with me. Same, I'll get in touch with her. And so there's really no reason for us to like seek out the ability to see each other's location. The only time, the only thing I could think of really is, and this is definitely a rarity, but in the off chance, the extremely rare chance that one of us were to be kidnapped, you know, that would be a good time. That's about the only time that I would bother to look at her location. Or like, she's supposed to be home from work at 7 or 5, and it's 7 o'clock and she's not here and I haven't heard from her. I might look and see, just to make sure everything's okay. But yeah, like I think that's weird. Like wanting to know where your loved one is at all times. It's a little much. Oh, geez, wow, heading on down there. Nice. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Like I say, I'm gonna try this doing it earlier in the day thing to see if that like works out better for my views and for me personally. It's like say in the afternoon, I get tired a lot. The cancer kind of starts to kick my butt when it gets in the hot part of the day. So like I said, maybe if I start doing this earlier in the day, I'll have a little bit more wherewithal, and it'll be a little more entertaining. So, oh, by the way, I hope you like the new avatar. I did the I don't know what they call this. It's like mashed potato style or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I came up with the bottle and I stuck my face and eyes on it. And it's just hilarious. I just love looking at it. It cracks me up. Hopefully, the people find it entertaining as well. Oh, so yeah, black people, you need to segregate, create their own communities, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, I know what this is about. So apparently, over the holiday weekend, there was this group of teenagers, like 17, 18-year olds, something like that, that went to a place called Horn Island, which I think is off the coast of Mississippi, somewhere in the Gulf. It's a very popular party island. You know, a lot of people go there all the time, especially on holiday weekends. Anyway, so this group of kids, all of them but one are white, one guy's black. They go to this island, right? They're partying, they're having a good time. Their buddy, the black guy, meets a girl, starts talking to her. Uh, I There's really not a lot of details right now on went on in between, but the long story short is the other group of friends, the white kids, were like, well, hey, you know, homie's hooking up with this girl. There's like a million other boats here. He'll catch a ride with somebody else, and they head out. Right? I guess homie did not catch a ride with somebody else, and he was found dead. I'm not sure how much later, but yeah, and it's a real tragedy. It's a real sad situation. Um, you know, you never like to hear about kids getting hurt, and from what I've been reading, it's kind of like the rip currents out there could be quite dangerous. So I'm kind of thinking just based on the information I have, it really seems like the young man, I don't know why he got out in the water where he shouldn't have been, but he, sounds like he got into a spot that he should not have been. He wasn't a strong enough swimmer, and the worst possible thing that could happen happened. And it's like I said, it's a real tragedy. I feel bad for everybody involved. I feel especially bad for his friends that took him out there and left. They have to just feel absolute. I mean, this is their buddy. And so back to the point, there's been a lot of black people on Twitter. I don't want to say black people. Let's say race baiters. There's been a lot of people who make their living off of race baiting on Twitter who have been, saying, "Oh, well, this just goes to show that a black person isn't safe around white people, and yeah, black people need to separate themselves from white people," and they're going like full on racist with it, and it's just like there's not enough information. I don't know if the kid got murdered. It doesn't seem like it was a murder. Like I said, it's a very popular party island. There were a lot of people there. There were a lot of other boats there at the same time, so I imagine it would be kind of hard for a group of people to murder somebody without anybody witnessing it and coming out and saying something. So, like I said, it seems the murder thing seems iffy. It's most likely an accident, but of course that doesn't keep people who again make their living from creating division in American society from making this big deal about it. And like I said, I feel really bad for people involved. I feel bad for the kid that died's mom and family and stuff. They lost their freaking 17, 18-year-old kid. That's got to be rough. Nobody wants to outlive their children. And then the worst, well, as bad if not worse, is what his buddies are going through. The white kids that he was there with. I mean, they're getting attacked online. They had to shut off their social media profiles because they were getting so much hate messaging and death threats and stuff. And which of course then turns people say, "Oh, that's a sign. That's suspicious. That's a suspicious thing to do." No, it's really not. Whenever you, let's say, you're getting probably hundreds of death threats every day, it is not suspicious at all to turn off your social media. Because I saw some people say, "Oh, well, they could just be blocking those people." It's like, dude, are you going to sit there and block 10,000 people that are sending you messages? You're going to take the time to sit there and just block, 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 block. Do you have any idea how long that would take? It's way easier to just shut off the social media page altogether, you know, and just end it that way. So it's a tragedy, and of course, people are trying to exploit it for their own personal gain, and that is a horrible, horrible thing. A new trend to turn off elevators and stand there blocking people to piss them off. What would you do? Nelson, buddy, you know what I'd do. And it wouldn't be just walk around the little prick. But here's the thing. So, as I mentioned earlier, I live in Colorado, and I also mentioned that I have cancer. Well, Colorado has some laws that protect disabled people from abuse. And as a disabled person, by doing this, taking the stairs, that can be difficult for me. I need to take the escalator. You turned off the escalator. You're abusing me as a disabled person. You're blocking the path. You're further abusing me as a disabled person. I could have this little prick put in jail and find out the wazoo for this. So yeah, you know what, I really hope that some one of these little asshole TikTok quote unquote pranksters that like to fuck with other people for content. I really hope one of them does this shit to me. I really do, because it's going to become an issue. It's going to turn into fucking national stage shit. I'm going to make it an issue, whether they like it or not. But yeah, it's a kind of, to me, it's kind of sad that all these people just put up with it and nobody just fucking shoves that little prick and knocks him to the ground like he deserves. But it'll happen someday. That'll actually be the least of what happens. And then they'll whine and cry and pretend to be victims. Rent was a lot. Rent was $300 in the 2010s. Where in the fuck was rent $300 in the 2010s? That's insane. That's bullshit. This is the kind of dumbass shit. This is why. This is why normal people don't like extreme leftists, because you literally just make shit up, and then you base your entire personality on your head canon that, like I said, you completely made up and has absolutely no connection to reality. Let me tell you something. If you were paying $300 rent in the 2010s, you were living in somebody's woodshed behind their house. No power, no HVAC, just probably a mattress laid out on the ground, maybe just an air mattress, rolled out on the ground, and nothing else. Like that's what $300 rent would get you in 2010. I remember back in when my wife and I got together, which was like what, 2004, 2005. I think it's 2005. We met in 2005. She was living in a little one bedroom ghetto ass apartment in the ghetto ass side of town. Uh, there was crime, in the parking lot. Like the parking lot of the apartment complex was a known crime spot to the police. They actually put warnings out to not stay in that place and not hang out there if you didn't live there, because of how dangerous it could be. And I think her rent was like $600 a month for a one bedroom in the ghetto in 2005. And I actually recently, like about a year ago, I went and looked it up again, and the rent has gone for that same apartment has gone from 600 a month all the way to 800 a month. In 20 years, it has gone up $200 a month. And that's not to say that there's not issues with housing costs in this country, because there are. A lot of it's falsely inflated. But that just goes to show, these people say, oh, there's no affordable housing. There is absolutely affordable housing. You just don't want to live in it. And I understand. I didn't want to live in it either. You know, I didn't want to have to deal with shootings in the parking lot and rapes on the fucking balconies, and the dickhead that lived next door to us that literally caved in the side of my pickup truck because he didn't know how to drive and then refused to pay for it. Like, I didn't want to deal with that, but you know what? I did it because I had to, because that's what was available and that's what I could afford. So I think this younger generation, like, they think they need at the age of 18, they need to immediately move into a 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom, 1,500 square foot starter home with a 2 car garage on 2 acres. And it's like, guys, that's not a starter home. That's never been a starter home. A starter home, like they talk about, oh, the boomers got their first house for a penny and a blueberry. It's like, well, no. For one thing, they paid like a 30 some odd percent interest rate on whatever loan that they got, and the house that they got was like a single bedroom, maybe two if they were lucky, shack with a bathroom, a teeny tiny little kitchen you couldn't even fit a table in, no property, no space. Like, my dad. So my dad in the 80s bought the house that he still lives in today, my boomer dad. Only house he's ever bought. Again, still lives there today. When he bought it, it was literally a shed that the farmer next door was using to store his tools in. You know? Yeah. Wow. Core memory. Anyway, so like I said, my childhood home was a shack. And my bedroom as a kid was the front porch that we used, OSB plywood to kind of box in, so that it was like an interior room. It wasn't an actual interior room because it didn't have insulation or HVAC, but it was kind of safe from the elements, and that's what I grew up in. So when I see these people complain, like I said, that at the age of 18 they can't afford, a gigantic brand new house that's in perfect condition, it's like, grow the fuck up, guys. We had roommates. The boomers, they had roommates too. Gen X, they had roommates too. Everybody had to have roommates at some point. Like when when we were dating, and then girlfriend, now wife, was living in that $600 one-bedroom apartment. She needed help paying her rent. I got a job. I started working at one of the local universities just so I could help her pay her rent. It's not like, and just because it was less expensive doesn't mean it was less of a struggle. We all struggle. That's just part of it. And I won't disagree with the excuse me, people say who believe that it should not be as much of a struggle as it is. That is true. Things should not definitely be as hard as they are. And like I say, there's some serious issues in housing costs. I don't think it makes sense that the average rent in this country is like almost 3 grand. I know a lot of that is because of the high population, high cost coastal areas, but like say where I live here, you're paying about $2,700 for a little 2-bedroom apartment. When the what four? Well, no, I guess it was a 2 bed. Technically, it was only 2 bedrooms, but we had three, like 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 2,000 square foot house that I just sold. It only cost me like 2,500 a month. So it actually cost me more to live in an apartment than it did to live in a house. But if something breaks here, I don't have to do the maintenance. I just call the front desk and they take care of it. So there's a trade off. There's a trade off. That said, I would take living in my own home on my own property over an apartment any day of the week. And I would never put them on. This is me personally, but until I'm like old and retired and I don't need or want to have space or anything, I would never buy a condo. Rent, yes. Buy, no. Oh, thank God. I just realized I hadn't checked if I was unmuted. That would be that would be terrible if I was just sitting here chattering away and I've been muted the whole time. But that would also be right on course for me. So, oh yeah, here we go. Yep, here's the kid. Yeah, yeah. Nolan Xavier Wells is the kid that passed away on that island, and yeah, it's really sad. Yeah, right there. If they were real friends, they'd be crying for him set up a memorial, not lawyering up. It's like, well, number one, you don't know that they're not crying. You don't know that they haven't set up a memorial, and they're lawyering up because you fuckers are coming after them. Like they're already under attack. I just saw some like what's the guy's name? Something Crump. He's like the new version of Al Sharpton, the race baiting lawyer that just makes money off of black people's tragedies. And he's already saying, I'm going to represent the family. It's like, represent them for what? There's no crime that's been committed. There's no one's been charged with anything. They're saying it was probably an accident. Granted, it's currently being investigated, so I'm sure more will come out. But as it stands right now, like it's probably most likely an accident. So why would they need a race grifting lawyer? So, I don't know. I don't know. It's a mess. Maybe the black folks are right. Maybe these 4 or 5 white kids plotted to murder, make friends with this black kid, hang out with him for years, get to be really good buddies with him, like really close friends. He's part of their core friend group, just so that they could take him out and murder him on an island in front of probably hundreds of other people somehow. Like the mental gymnastics that folks got to do to justify their beliefs is just insane sometimes. Elon Musk falsely calling Hitler a socialist. Hitler was absolutely socialist. Don't let anybody lie to you. The Nazis, they called themselves National Socialists. And no, it wasn't like, oh, they were just doing that to trick the communists. No, they were socialists. They nationalized industry. That is socialism. I don't care what anybody says. You can argue with that all you want. You're wrong. Since the mother always contributes an X, but the father contributes X or Y, it's determined by the father. I don't know enough about genetics to confirm or deny that. It makes sense, so I'm not going to really argue with it. But I can't be like, yes, that is definitely true for sure. I have no idea. I don't know. If you wonder why I keep looking over, that's where my monitor screen for my streaming setup is. I'm just making sure that I'm not like screwing this up because I have a tendency. If you ever watched the stream before, I kind of have a tendency to like screw things up. So I'll Venmo this guy $100 if he can provide specific evidence-based explanation of how their 50+ country group more press freedom than the U.S. Yeah, it's funny. These are always funny. People like, oh, people are so much happier in other places like England. It's so much more free in other places like the UK and near the Netherlands, socialist Netherlands. Like number one in the UK, you could be arrested for mean tweets. So no, they're not more free than we are here. Number two, the Netherlands, all those Scandinavian countries, they're not socialist. They're capitalist democracies with usually with like a sovereign wealth fund paying for everything. They're petrostates, they make their money off of selling oil. That's how they pay for everything. That's how they've got all these like great services for people because they sell their oil and they make a crap ton of money doing it. You know, and don't let anybody trick you into thinking that's socialism. That is 100% capitalism. Let's see. Spots that you might use it for a bit more smart. Supreme Court could hinge on their common use. Yeah, I know that's a big thing in Second Amendment cases is whether or not something's in common use. Now, my argument there is if you actually read the text of the Second Amendment, and nowhere do you see the phrase common use. You know what you do see? The phrase shall not be infringed. There's no other caveats to that. It just says shall not be infringed. I'm not sure how that gets interpreted to can be infringed in several different ways depending on how we choose to interpret the law, but that's just where we're at. So, if you can't tell, if you've never watched a stream before, you can't tell I'm a big Second Amendment advocate. I likes me guns. I likes me gun safety. It's number one rule is always have fun. No, number one rule is don't point at anything that you don't plan on destroying. Actually, so there's like four rules that are all kind of share that number one space. The cardinal rules, we might call them. Don't point a firearm at anything you don't want to destroy. Never put your finger on the trigger unless you're planning on firing it. Always identify your target and what's behind it. And I always forget number four. Don't flag people. Well, that's the don't point it at shit that you don't mean to destroy. Is that three? Was that four? I don't remember. I covered the important ones. If you're really interested in it and you want to learn more about it, Google the name Jeff Cooper. Jeff Cooper was a Marine Corps guy way back in the day. He came up with the four cardinal rules of gun safety and a lot of other really cool important gun stuff, like the different modes of awareness depending on your situation. Very cool stuff, actually, very interesting. So yeah, look up Jeff Cooper if you're interested in firearms related things. Really interesting guy. Most convincing Reddit argument. Oh, this should be fun. Just do the same thing, but have Trump in a diaper shit. Oh, god damn it. And throwing a tantrum, making a commentary, doo-doo, stinky fart, man, fart, stinky doo-doo farts. Make Joe Biden looking at him looking disgusted and then turning around and getting cheered by a sea of American people. You have to communicate with these people in a way they understand. That I don't know who he's trying to communicate with. Like, apparently it's not me because I don't fucking understand that in the slightest. Uh, I I thought you weren't allowed. I thought like toddlers weren't allowed to be on Reddit. Like I thought there were rules against that. Whatever happened to COPA? Oh yeah. Speaking of which, so yeah, they're talking about the government's wanting to push all this new digital ID stuff and claiming that it's for kids' safety and all that. Pro tip, good rule of thumb here: if the government says they're doing something for the safety of children, it's a lie. It's not. It's not for the safety of children. If they really cared about the safety of children, you would think that they would be, I don't know, prosecuting all the pedophiles in the Epstein files or something like that. So yeah, anytime that they say that they're protecting kids, it's a lie. That's just a lie to get you to support it. But yeah, this digital ID stuff, like I said, so back in the 90s, they passed a law called COPA, the Children's Online Privacy and Protection Act. And the rules of COPA basically were that if a child under the age of like 14 wanted to get on a website, whether it be like a forum, we didn't have social media back then, but we had something similar called forums, or message boards, Usenet sites, stuff like that. Anywhere that they had the ability to communicate with other people, the law required that their parents fax. If you know what a fax machine is, they had to fax a physical piece of paper to the company that ran the website, giving the child permission to use the website. I guarantee you that was never enforced. I mean, I know for my sake, I was on the internet, probably when I was like at the age of 10 or so. But granted, the internet was a lot different back in the 90s than it is today. But like I was under 14 when COPA became a law, and nobody ever asked me for my parental permission to get on a website, using AOL Messenger, ICQ, GeoCities, like I say, Usenets, going on forums, message boards and stuff, BBSs. Like, never once was I even asked for any sort of permission slip or anything like that. So like they never enforced COPA to begin with. But now we need all these new laws and stuff, that they're not going to enforce. I don't know. It's insane. Some people are sitting there probably going, "Isn't this supposed to be a gaming stream?" I don't know, dude. I don't know. Sometimes when I feel like it, I don't really know if there's any games that I'm feeling like playing right now. Let me check. Hang on. Let me just see what's going on in the old Steam store this morning. They're still having their summer sale, right? Not looking for anything AAA. I'd like to find some fun indie stuff with a good story. So if you're watching the stream here and of a good fun indie game with a good story, preferably like RPGs, I really like JRPG style. Yeah, let me know and I'll check it out. This is all, yeah. You can't see what I'm seeing here. So yeah, this is what's on showing up in my queue anyway for the Steam sale, summer sale. It's like I already have Plague Inc. That's fun, but it's not fun enough to stream. Don't Starve. I remember. Okay, so I've never actually like paid the play version of this, played the paid version of this game. And I know it's developed a lot, but I remember when this first came out. It was basically a tech demo for HTML5 and CSS3 when they were first developed. And I remember playing it then. It was a lot of fun actually. It was pretty cool. So yeah, why is everything? That's another thing. So why is everything got to be multiplayer now? There's a game that was coming out. I think it was like a zombie survival game. That, like, it looked like it was cool, and it's like, oh, you can have 4-person co-op with your friends. Man, I don't know 4 people. I don't know 2 people that I can play a game with. That we have the same schedule and the same taste in games. That we can sit there and be like, all right, we're gonna play this video game together. Like, I honestly couldn't tell you one person that I could do that with. Whatever happened to the days whenever you would, it had a multiplayer game, regardless of how many people were on your team. And you just, you open the game and you went into the server browser and you found some fucking random server online with a bunch of randos you never met, never talked to before, and played that way. Like, man, I have had some of the most fun I've ever had in gaming playing with randos. Uh, I just all pretty much all of my Steam friends, except the people I know in real life, are randos that I met playing, Left 4 Dead or something back in the day, and like we got tight. Like I'm tight with those guys. Not to mention, what better way to find a group of people who have the same tastes and schedule as you than a random server browser? That you're playing that game at the time you're available, so the other people playing that game at the time you're available will be, you'll have that confluence there, and you'll actually be able to like play sometimes, and maybe actually even get through an entire game together. But I get tired of the, hey, this is a game. Everything is like, this is a game you can play with your buddies. But I don't have any buddies. That's not fair. I've been playing a little Gray Zone Warfare. Uh, I'm not very good at it, but I'll admit I like the game. When there's action, I enjoy the action. But man, I spend almost as much time just running through an empty jungle as I do actually engaging the enemy and playing the game. Actually doing missions and stuff. And the tasks, like, the tasks don't really give you very good hints on what you're supposed to be doing. Like, it's like, go to this place and look for this box. You go to the place and look for the box. The box isn't there. Oh, it's around here somewhere. So then you go looking around, and it doesn't tell you anything about the box. It doesn't tell you like what color it is or how big it is or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, there's a box here you need to look for. And it's just like, instead you're in this little village, and you basically have to go through and look at every single fucking prop and set decoration in the whole damn village to try to find the one fucking box that has a little info pop up like, oh, this is what you're looking for. And like, I mean, dude, I'll spend like an hour looking for that damn box, and then you finally find the box. You're like, oh, this wasn't the right box, you need to find a different one. And so you finally, this happened to me last night. I was playing the game, I get this mission. I find the box. It was the wrong box. Okay, so I go and I look around for another like 20 minutes. I find the right box. Cool, this is the right box. Oh, the stuff's not in it. You need to go to this other location and look for another box. And it's like, dude, I've already been on this mission for a fucking hour. I have other shit to do. Like I need to leave. And it's not like it's one of those games where you can just, turn it off and walk away. You have to actually make your way back to the LZ and go back to the main base so that you can save in a safe zone and before you can exit. And it's like, man, guys, like I know you're trying to, get as many play hours here as you can for your stats, but jeez, make it a little more interesting, you know? Or like I don't want the whole yellow paint everywhere. I get that that's a little much. I don't need my handheld that much, but like if I'm looking for a gray box, tell me it's a gray fucking box. Okay? That's all I ask. Don't just say, yeah, there's a box here. And put me in a location that has 50,000 friggin' boxes of all shapes and sizes. Honestly, I've gotten, I found most of the stuff by just asking other players, hey, what am I supposed to be looking for here? And like, oh, it's this thing. And I don't think that's a fun way to play, honestly. I shouldn't have to ask other players, hey, what's the thing I'm looking for here? There should be some sort of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? The game should be designed in a way that kind of leads you in that direction instead of just letting you flounder until you figure it out, you know? That just, I don't know. I don't know. It's not, it may be more realistic. It's one of those situations where, yeah, it's more realistic, but sometimes you hit a point where more realistic is less fun. Uh, that perfect example, and so I see Arma here reminded me of it. So I was reading a discussion on X the other day, and people were talking about, why don't put mortars in these, war games, especially the ones that go for realism. And it's like, well, because number one, mortars are OP, and it kind of kills the whole balance thing. Well, it's a big part of it. But number two, if you look at real life, like I say, if you talk about realism, in real life, a mortar team is like 5 or 6 dudes. You got a spotter, you got the guys actually running the mortar, you got the team leader, and like it just that's not fun. That wouldn't be fun for 5 or 6 people. Now, if you could kind of cut the realism a little bit and make it like a 2 or 3 man team at most. So you've got so let's say a 2 man team. We could make it work with a 2 man team. So you've got one guy as a spotter and one guy that actually sets up and launches the mortar, right? Uh, but even then, you got to have 2 people. You got to coordinate. For me, like if I had a buddy and we were into that, that would be a lot of fun. I would love being the mortar team in a game like Arma. You got your spotter calling in the shots, mortar guy doing all the adjustments, to hit the target. Target moves, you got to adjust some more. Uh, it'd be even great, be awesome if they threw in like windage and stuff that you had to account for. But I can understand why they're not there. And then the other, like I said, the other half of it is that mortars are super OP. Like you can't really set up a defendable position whenever you can just be bombarded from the sky with explosives. So I understand it does kill some of the fun and it's a little too realistic, even for games like Arma. But that said, I would love doing a mortar team in a game. I don't think I'd have a problem with that. I really need to update my wish list. See, Schedule 1. Perfect example of a game that would be super fucking fun to play with randos. Does this even have a random server browser? Silence you. So single player online co-op. So online co-op usually means that you're playing with people that you already know that are already in your Steam friends. Like I said, just think about it. It's a fucking drug dealing simulator. Imagine playing that with a bunch of random people you never met. It'd be absolute chaos, and it would be hilarious, and it would be a blast. You know. So I'm a huge advocate for the bringing back the server browser, and in every game that you can, and letting people play with randos. I think that's a great idea. Great idea, non combatant NPC. Let's make it happen. I've heard a lot of good things about Balatro, but I'm kind of iffy on the card games. I don't know. I don't know. If I want to play a deck builder, I'll buy the cards and I'll physically build a deck. You know, I'll bust out my Magic the Gathering cards collection from the '90s and do some of that. Which, yes, I have a bunch of Magic the Gathering cards from the '90s. Yes, I'm a huge nerd. Actually, I haven't. I bought some recently, and I was like looking through them, and it seems like the rules have changed significantly since I played when I was a kid, and I just have no interest in that. It's just gotten way too complicated. Part of what was fun about Magic back in the day is it wasn't too complex. There were some quirks about it and stuff, some status effects that took a little thinking and monitoring. You had to keep track of stuff, but for the most part, you just throw your cards down, you play the game, you move on. It's gotten really complicated, and I'm not into that, man. I know that's kind of the trend now is super overly complicated board games and card games and stuff that make Risk look like Monopoly, but it's just, man, that's just not for me. I play games to be challenged and entertained, not tortured. I'll put it that way. Now, if somebody else has if it's one of those fancy complex board games and somebody else has it, they already know all the rules and are willing to be the leader of the game, I'll play it. But yeah, I don't have to read a 30-page manual just to put my freaking figure on the starting block. Like that's just not me. Oh man, it's like, oh man, I got hours left in this. I'm already getting bored. Looks like Metroidvania. Metroidvanias are cool. Let's see. You may kill the brick man. Brick breaking, turn based roguelike. Bullet builder. Blast bricks to break the bank. Okay. Let's watch the demo. Let's see. It's like a mix of Breakout and the modern deck builder games. I always liked Breakout. It's like such a simple game and so much replayability. Great time waster. Just FYI, there is a free PC version of Breakout called DX Ball that has been around for a very long time. It's what you expect. It's very simple. But man, I could play the crap out of that. Okay. Okay, so yeah, like I say, combo of a Breakout clone and a brick builder game. Interesting concept. Egonomics, roguelike, a city builder. Look at the city above. Mystical caves. All right, let's check out the video. With the help of capitalism, cheap infrastructure, and some exploited workers, I set myself up a little business venture. That's funny. Workforce will fight its way through anything that tries to stop me. Whether that's living trees, giant scorpions, or those vile beasts. I know the journey will be perilous, but when it comes to gold, I'll do whatever it takes. Well, time to get digging. Okay, that was kind of a shitty video.
I knew I couldn't do it alone, but there was no point hunting for gold if I had to pay my workers to find it. You know what they say? It's not working hard, it's working smart, but also hard.
Oh, cool. So this is clearly made by some retarded socialist. And oh, capitalism is when you don't pay your workers. Bullshit. Well, definitely won't be giving that any of my money. Doesn't look that good of a game anyway. But yeah, that was pants on head retarded. You gotta wonder, man, where people get these ideas. Like, by the way, for those of you who don't know, the definition of capitalism is an economic system into which any individual, any person, is able to own their own means of production and build their own business. So, for example, if you own a 3D printer and you start 3D printing those little segmented dragons and selling them at a craft fair, congratulations, you're a capitalist. You are engaging in capitalism. Good for you. It's awesome. You're building your own fortune, and that's great. What people can think is capitalism, what dumbass leftist socialists think is capitalism, is whenever a large corporation gets the government to give them special privileges that gives them an advantage in the market over everybody else. That is actually socialism. Oh, what a surprise! That's how socialism works. The government decides winners and losers, and the friends of politicians get all the good deals, whereas everybody else is just screwed. No, you're not allowed to own your own 3D printer. The corporation owns a 3D printer, and they will decide whether or not you're allowed to use that to print your stuff. So yeah, that's a little life lesson for you guys. Don't trust what morons on the internet say. Actually, let me see if I can think of a better way to rephrase that. Never believe the definition of something when it's being given to you by someone that hates it. Does that make sense? So, like, if someone who claims to be a socialist is trying to tell you the definition of capitalism, they're lying. They're lying. If somebody that's a Republican is trying to tell you the definition of a Democrat, they're lying. They're saying things that they want you to believe, not necessarily what's true. And so it goes the other way. Democrat telling you how a Republican thinks, they're lying. They're just trying to manipulate you into agreeing with their side. So it's something I actually realized recently. Like everything we've been taught, especially about politics, is actually the complete opposite. Leftists are not compassionate or tolerant. The right wing is absolutely not Christian. Our economic system is not capitalism. And yeah. Ginny isn't a boy just because she likes to play with Hot Wheels. Okay. So that looked lame. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything here that's just like, oh, I gotta try that out. There are days that I'm into it and days that I'm not. And this is one of those, this is one of those like multiplayer stalker clone-ish games. I've heard it's got pretty good reviews. Let's check it out. Okay, I mean, this is very clearly ripping off the camp scene from the first Stalker game. Let me rephrase that, from Stalker: Shadows of Chernobyl. Like I say, literally almost character for character rip off of that. Although I'm not sure if you can smoke a cigarette in Stalker. I actually kind of like the way that the movements there, like the walking movements, are wrong. Like they're kind of gliding over the ground. It's terrible, but it's a terrible way that I find hilarious. Hey, you got anomalies. You're in a little Georgian village, Eastern European village. This is so Stalker, or at least that's the idea. That said, it's got really great reviews. Yeah, it does look like fun. Just think something like this would do well as a live service game. I'm not a huge fan of live service games. I mean, okay, right there. This right here. This is from the new Stalker game. The field of poppies that you got to walk through, and you got to walk the certain path with the right color. This is literally from the new Stalker game. I remember playing this section, doing this quest. It's kind of uncreative there, guys. It's the Baba Yaga. Super dark sections. I love those. Yeah, adding crafting elements, that's a change from Stalker. What's with the cigarettes? Is it just a goofy game mechanic, or do they serve a purpose? So yeah, so that one doesn't look bad. That one might be fun. 1 to 10 player co-op. I want co-op. I want multiplayer. Like I say, I want to hook up with a bunch of random idiots like me on a server and just go ape shit like we used to do back in the day. That reminds me, it still exists. Yes. All right. So for those of you who don't know, this game was a source mod like way back in the day. It was based on the Half Life source engine, and yeah, like so back in the early 2000s, like these source mods were huge. This was our version of indie games back in the day, and I used to play the ever loving hell out of Zombie Panic. This is one of those games with the server browser where you're just playing with a bunch of randos. Let's see if it's changed at all. Nope, I really thought the music's even still the same. Man, that takes me back. I don't remember this map. So this map is new. And by new I mean, it's been added to the game at some point in the last like 2 decades. Why are you shooting people? You're supposed to shoot, yeah, there you go. Shoot the zombies. Hungry. One of my favorite elements of this game is that you could set your server, if you were the server host, you could set it up so that that you could like do a custom infection rate on the zombies, right? So you could set it up to where the likelihood that a zombie attacking you but not killing you would infect you. And like when a player got infected, they could tell there was a progression. Your screen kind of changed colors, your character start breathing heavy, and eventually you would turn and just bam become a zombie. And dude, it was so much fun that like you get attacked and you would just not tell the other survivors until you're in there all fucking everybody's all holed up in one little room, and then you turn and you just start fucking chewing people up. Oh my god, oh, it's so much fun. Coming soon. It's all out. You know what? You know what? Let's do it. Let's install that. Let's have a look. Entire Zombie Panic Team Collection. Soundtrack. Zombie Panic Source. Is this the original? Maybe, maybe not. Interesting. I mean, it looks the same. All right, so let's see. I just installed, and let's go ahead and set up a mic on this other computer just in case we want to talk to some other folks. They have a Jeffrey Epstein model. Beautiful. All right, well, hell, let's try it. Let's give her a shot. Maybe. Maybe, baby. Might take a minute to load since it's the first time. So while we're waiting, this PlayStation disc situation reminding anyone else of Apple getting rid of the headphone jack? No, but it does remind me of back when the PC manufacturers stopped putting optical drives in devices by default, which is when you really should have been complaining about the disc thing. Like people are making a huge deal about PlayStation talking about how they're no longer going to do physical media anymore. And it's like, guys, physical media hasn't mattered since, like I said, they stopped putting DVD drives in laptops and PCs by default. Like, because that used to be a thing before, like 2020. It's pretty much every computer you bought had a disk drive in it, had a CD drive of some kind. And they slowly stopped putting those in there, and that right there, that was the writing on the wall that they were getting rid of physical media. You just didn't realize it at that point, and now it's too late. It is far, far too late to do anything about it. All right, why are you not loading? Load, damn it! There we go. That's the secret sauce. Let's move my little face over here. All right, join the game, create a game, extra. Let's just join a game. Ah, beautiful. The beautiful old server browser. Nobody is playing this bad boy. And all the servers are in fucking China and the EU. Look at that latency. Look at that ping. Look at that ping. All right, well, I'm going to have to try this later on. This is clearly not the time of day. It's funny though that it's still being played and is popular in other countries. All right, let's go back and check this out again. No, that's not what we wanted. We wanted store. Red Dead 2 is a good game. Don't care what anybody says. Okay, see all this AAA stuff. Let's see. I have Tarkov. I'm really bad at Tarkov. No Rest for the Wicked. That looks like it might be interesting. Let's see. For Moon Studios, award-winning creators of Ori and the Blind Forest. Okay, and Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Those are great games. No Rest for the Wicked, a unique, visceral action RPG in a handcrafted world with Souls-like combat. Co-op again.
With many eyes, you see my future. With many hands,
F and co-op.
you protect my journey. With many eyes, you see my future.
Yeah, show me some gameplay.
Hands, you protect my journey. With many eyes, you...
That's creepy. I like creepy.
You're fighting for a dead man.
Interesting. I kind of like the isometric camera angle there for the Souls-like combat. That's interesting. I like that. It's a cool looking boss. And the graphics look great.
A lost daughter returns home. Faith and flame at her neck.
It's seriously effed up looking bosses. Nice.
You shouldn't be here, Sarah. It's too late for fairy tales.
Eldritch horrors make for good bad guys in games because they're just nightmare fuel. October 12th, so it's not even out yet.
Your struggle was your own.
So how is it in early access, but it hasn't released yet? That's
Every scar.
okay. Oh well, this looks like it has some gameplay. Nice.
Yours alone.
Nice.
Now
I love the horror show with the bad guys.
you will stand together.
See, looks interesting, but I don't have 3 friends to play with. I wonder if by Souls-like combat they just mean, you gotta like time your attacks and stuff,
Call has been answered.
learn the boss's pattern and whatnot.
To sacrament.
Oh boy, there's resource gathering. Now that I don't necessarily like to see. Not every game needs resource gathering. I want to play an action RPG. I want to play an action RPG, not a survival game.
Will anyone be left inside?
Now, man, I'm gonna eat something. Got me a donut here. I got it yesterday. So we'll see if it's still edible.
History has called upon us.
Eh.
And history will remember the answer.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that. All right. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's add it to the wish list because it might be interesting. This is available January 22nd. I can't keep it. Can't keep it straight. Ugh. Whew. Yeah, man. I should have eaten earlier. Now I'm getting nauseous. Yay. Ooh. Having cancer is not fun, guys. Just gonna put that right out there. Fire crawlers first survivitation. I thought I already had vampire survivors. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the ADHD beats me, and it's like the game loop is fun. Not gonna lie, I enjoy this game. I like local co-op. Okay, that's cool. That's a nice add-on. See, couch co-op that I can do because I have a wife and I can make her play with me. So what do we have in the library that's like here and available? And then I can play. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not really feeling anything right now. Let's go back to the news then. Let's go back to the news. Two men stabbed a man in the Bronx yesterday in open argument in a deli. Sane world to be in prison for the rest of their lives. Because New York's probably back on the street by the end of the week. Let's see. No audio? Goddamn. Stabbing a dude over a sandwich. That's fucked up. And New York is one of those places that I don't know if I ever want to go there. Like I've heard this cool stuff. I can live the rest of my life without ever seeing it, man. Too many damn people in too small of a place. Stuff like this is bound to happen. Oh yeah, let's scooch my old face back over here. Not that you couldn't say it, but you know, I'm trying. I'm trying to be consistent here. Oh, excuse me. Jeez. Oh, that's terrible. I mean, I understand people being upset about it, but yeah, just the names of people. They deserve an end. Shut up. So the Odyssey, this movie came out, and a lot of people are upset about the lack of historical accuracy in that apparently they race swapped and gender swapped a bunch of the characters, and then I guess they didn't have a single like Greece paid like $17 million or gave $17 million to have this movie made, and they didn't hire a single Greek actor, and they replaced a bunch of the roles with folks that are of races that would not have been found in ancient Greece. Uh, I can understand the outrage. I can understand people being upset about that. I personally, yeah, if I like a historical movie, I like to be historically accurate. If I'm watching a movie about England in the 1800s, I expect it to look like England in the 1800s, and that's down to the set design, the props, the costumes, and yes, even the actors and actresses. Just like if we were to do a remake of Roots today, I would expect Kunta Kinte would be played by I don't know, a black guy and not Chris Pratt. And I think everyone would agree with me that if we remade Roots today and we replaced all the black people with white people, or a bunch of the black people with white people, there'd be a problem with that. There'd be some outrage, and it would be completely understandable, because you're rewriting history to fit your own personal view of it, and that's not how history works. So, like I said, I'm not going to watch that movie, but I can understand why people are outraged by it. The crime. Anybody else get a 20-minute phone call with Mitch McConnell today? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I talked to that guy. He said he's doing great, feeling great. Wife went to China just on a vacation. Nothing to see here. Please move along. Yeah, so if you're not aware, Mitch McConnell, the politician guy, is apparently having some health issues, and it seems like he's like basically brain dead, but has been allegedly been making phone calls and talking to people for the past several days, despite being probably brain dead. And like, there really hasn't been like any. It doesn't seem like there's been any investigation of that. I think we're to the point where the American people are going to want to see proof of life before we believe anything else that guy allegedly says. As like I said, so from what I understand, he's not in a state to be able to be making phone calls, and yet people are claiming that he is. So I don't know. The thing I've noticed, trans folks never say anything about trans men in male bathrooms, because trans men don't go into male bathrooms to try to abuse the men in there. Just a thought. If we have 300th anniversary, we look back 250 days, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we get it. Orange man bad. Ignore the fact that senile old man also bad. All old man bad. All politician bad. All taking money from other countries to pass laws that aren't good for the American people. All support Fourth Amendment violating surveillance technology everywhere. So all bad. Anyone that tells you otherwise is full of shit. Blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah. So I guess the U.S. played Belgium in the World Cup the other day, and we lost. And like all these Europeans are like, oh, Americans, you better be upset. We're like, guys, we don't care. Soccer's not a sport that Americans care about. We hosted the World Cup. That's cool. But like the game itself, most of us don't care about. The part that we found really cool about the World Cup is all the people from other countries coming here and realizing that, oh wait, America isn't this terribly violent shithole that we've been told. It's actually very awesome with its own really cool culture, and we're loving it. Like, that's the part I've been enjoying. Like, so seeing all the people realize that everything they've been told about the U.S. up to this point has been propaganda. The games themselves, I haven't really paid a lot of attention. I don't pay for cable or satellite, and I don't think Fox comes in on this TV. So I use an antenna. I do antenna TV. I have always used antenna for TV. I haven't paid for cable since like 2008. But like I say, Fox doesn't come in here, so I haven't watched much, if any, of the games. You want to know how people who don't work or remotely incorporate gym into their daily routine, yet put aside a minimum 1 to 2 hours, proper gym session. How's it going to work with a 9 to 5 where you have to cook every night too? Wait, I know people who don't work incorporate gym. Well, they don't work. They have all the time in the world. I assume that they meant to say people who do work, incorporate gym into the daily routine, and it's like put aside a minimum of 1.5 to 2 hours for a proper gym session. What? Commute included? Where the fuck are you going to the gym, bro? Like, granted, I'm not a gym bro. I tried back when I was like in my 20s, and it did not stick. I kind of feel like gyms are a lot of gyms, not all of them, but a lot of gyms are scams, and it's all about getting you locked into the membership more than actually getting you to come in and use the equipment and exercise. But yeah, like even when I was doing, the like month or two that I was going to the gym, it was like maybe 30 minutes out of my day, maybe an hour tops. Yeah, if you consider driving and warm up and cool down and all that. But you can't find an hour out of the day. How long do you think it takes to cook dinner, man? Like, what are you doing with your time? And 9 to 5, shit, that's only like 7 hours of work. Who works 9 to 5? That's another thing. Who works 9 to 5? I, in my entire life, have never known anyone or myself worked a 9 to 5 shift. There's always been 8 to 5 with like a 30-minute to hour lunch break, on a normal shift. I have worked in places where I did like a 410s, where you work like 6 a.m. to 5 or something like that. And then you get Friday off, which is fucking awesome. Like, hey, if you can do it, the two best shifts that you can work are 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 410s. Because a 6 to 2 shift is awesome. You're up. up and out. You're driving on the roads before anybody else is out. You don't have to worry about traffic. You're done working while everybody else is in the middle of their day. So you got the rest of the afternoon to get anything you need done, taken care of. If you want to go take a fucking nap, you can, and it doesn't like ruin your whole evening. So yeah, great shift. And like I said, aside from that, 410s. 410s is probably the best shift. Yeah, probably the best shift I personally have ever worked. Like I say, you come in you get there at 6, you work until 5, you just do your normal work day until 5, and then you get 3-day weekends every single weekend. Like that's hard to beat, man. I guess the next best shift that I personally worked, I'd put this at number 3 in the total count that we're doing here, would be graveyards, like midnight to 8 a.m. Because again, you're out, you're driving into work when nobody's on the roads, you got no traffic to deal with. You get off work at the beginning of the workday, so you got literally entire day to get anything you need done taken care of. And yeah, if you want to go fucking pass out, right after work, when you get up, there's still plenty of time in the day left to do stuff. What I would usually do is I work my shift, I get off at 8, I'd spend the most of the day doing stuff, and I go to bed like around like 4 or 5 p.m. and then get up 10 or 11, start my day that way. I just prefer it that way. I like my work day I would like work to be the beginning of the work day, not the end of it. And I like to use my day, you sleep in the afternoon whenever there's nothing going on. Let's see. GTA 6 needs to be a commercial failure for the sake of the gaming industry. Well, I got bad news for you there, son. I think they made something like $3 billion in pre-orders on the first day. So yeah, it's already not a commercial failure. It's already a commercial success. So you're not getting your wish there, Budro. Sorry about ya. Denver keeps attracting drug-fueled pyromaniacs, pretending the problem doesn't exist. Yeah, there's a big old wildfire going on right now. 91,000 acres. 91,000 acre wildfire. 7th largest in Colorado history, human caused. They actually just caught a guy the other day trying to start another fire off of I-70. And it's like, dude, I feel like personally in a situation like this, we're having a really dry year. It's a really risky summer. There's really bad wildfires already. You're out there trying to start more shit. Just right there on the side of the road. There's no need for a trial at that point. Just get her done. Do the rest of the population a favor. Save us a lot of money. Let's see. Dearborn, Michigan has been taken over by foreigners who worship Islam. That's true. That's a shame. Government who protect us from RC votes. Oh boy.
So what's up? Why? Nobody was right here. I don't see the big deal. You must be bored today, but I appreciate it. I'm gonna go over there. Have a good day.
Well, I tell you what, you gotta have a permit to launch a boat.
Ah!
You wanna play these?
Okay.
Games, we can play these.
All right, sir. I
will write you a ticket for no boat launch permit.
For a toy?
Motherfucker, I'd be like, you know what, buddy? You go right ahead, because when we go to court, I'm gonna make you look like a total fucking jackass.
Hey, if you want, I ain't making no big deal. You pulled over here in the water, sir. I ain't doing nothing but trying to have a good Saturday. You need to go mess with somebody that's doing drugs or something.
No, you need to leave. You can go somewhere else and play with your toys.
Oh, yes, sir. Okay. I can pick my stuff up real quick.
Step up and leave.
Have a good day, sir.
Jeez. And we want to give these guys the ability to surveil us at all times, everywhere we go and everything we do. Nah, that couldn't possibly go wrong. I'm not going to get into that. They've been done, tried this. What? Oh, okay. That makes sense there. Activists demand Black English be pushed on kids in California preschools. They've been done, tried this. Now that makes sense. Yeah, I saw this yesterday. So they've found in California the literacy standards or the literacy rates for children are like dropping like a stone. Like they're just absolutely abysmal. So the solution that they've come up with is, instead of finding a way to increase the literacy rate of kids by teaching them proper English, they're going to start introducing what they call Black English as a legitimate language, so that people that don't know how to speak actual English can get better grades, which brings the numbers up, but doesn't actually make anybody any better at English literacy. Yeah. So they're basically gaming the system by lowering the standards rather than, upping the actual literacy rate. It's I can see where this is heading. Although, if you think about it, it does make sense because a literate, well-educated, intelligent population is a lot harder to manipulate and control and coerce than a bunch of idiots that don't know shit, don't know their ass from Adam. Like, why do you think people say, well, they don't teach? Why don't they teach financial literacy classes in high schools? Because they don't want to. It's by design. They don't want you to be financially literate. If kids in high school were taught financial literacy, they would never be able to sell a single student loan because the minute they try to offer the kids to be like, this is a screw job. I'm going to be paying this the rest of my life for a degree that's not going to, not going to make up for it. Like they would already know that student loans are a scam and they wouldn't sign up for them. So of course they don't want to teach kids financial literacy because then they couldn't break them into debt slaves for the rest of their lives, It's like one of the worst things that ever happened to education. Well, two of the worst things that ever happened to education. Well, number one, the formation of the Department of Education, and number two, the subsidization of college education. Like when the government got involved in student loans is whenever college became so expensive you couldn't afford it without a student loan. You see how that works? It's almost like they planned it, like they wanted it to be that way. Yeah. It's food for thought. Misogyny, I don't care. Good old Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee, baby. I've been to Tennessee all at once, and even I knew at that point, never go to fucking Memphis. Ooh. Got him right there on that off button. Let's go back. I want to see that again. So that right there, that spot on the chin right there, that's called the off button. And you see why. Boop. Hang on. I got something for this, but I got to open a new tab. Oh God, who's in that in? All right, that was me. All right, hang on. This will be good. All right, we're ready. Going back. Let's try that again, see if I can time it just right. Yeah. What is, man, that's a pile. That's a fight right there, baby. Oh, he's trying to snatch his chain. Snatch the chain. Motherfuckers can't do shit without trying to snatch a motherfucking chain. Goddamn, Debo. What you got him a 40? Well, if you don't get that reference, man, you have no culture. I know you got something. Man, my grandmama gave me that chain. Oh, shit. Gotta punch off. Fucking punch that motherfucker, baby. Get him. That's a girl. See that right there. That is a girl you can live your life with. She will go to bat for you. Look at that. She's not gonna fuck out of that motherfucker on your behalf, bro. You need to put a ring on that. Yeah. That's your bitch right there. Fuck yeah. Like I said, put a ring on that. Lock that shit down, son. You got yourself a winner. I'd say, man, you find yourself a woman that'll take a fucking swing on a grown-ass man on your behalf. Fuck yes. That is your lady, man. Like I say, that woman will die for you. You better be willing to do the same. Damn. That was unexpected. I gotta say, man. I say props on that gal. Mad fucking props. Usually when you see these videos where a dude's fighting and his woman's there, you know, she's like holding his arms back, basically turning him into a fucking target, you know, like, you know, handicapping him for the fight. Not this guy. Not this guy. She's like, you mess with my man, you messing with me, motherfucker. Love to see it. That was awesome. That was awesome. Good on her. Look, she's right there with him the whole time too. She's ready to fucking square up. He's having to push her back. It's the opposite, man. Like, lady, get out of my way. I'm gonna do this. You're like, no, fuck this. I'm gonna fuck this motherfucker up for you. You wanna talk shit? You wanna talk shit? Holy shit. That's awesome. That was beautiful. Grounds. Firework permit. Clerk writes it on the 5th. Fireworks on the 4th. Tells him he can't on the 4th. Closes on the holiday. Does it anyway. Cops charge him with a felony. Yeah, it's bullshit, man. There's the reason they made everything they possibly can a felony, and the reason they have done that is because if you're a felon, you lose a lot of your rights. You lose your right to vote. You lose your right to own firearms. You're basically immediately suspect in anything you do. You know, you get pulled over for having a light out. They're gonna have like 3 cop cars cops come up, pull their fucking guns on you and do a felony stop because you're a felon. Like, it gives them an excuse to treat you like a subhuman, and that's why they've been pushing to make everything they can a felony. You know, that's why, you know, pirating a movie, felony. Fireworks display with permission but not really permission, felony. Piss on a fucking flower, felony. Sex crime, felony at that. I thought that was crazy that, you know, like, pee outside, they'll charge you with a sex crime. Like, they'll put you on the sex offender registry. That's so fucking crazy. Like, I grew up in the boondocks, you know, like, as a kid, we need to pee. We just peed, you know. You don't do it where people are going to walk, you know. You try to be courteous about it, but you need to take a piss, go find a fucking tree and take a piss. Nobody cared. You know, and like I say, now it's a sex crime. You will get put on a registry and have to tell all your neighbors you're a sex offender because you peed on a tree outside. What is an app or website that went from absolutely essential to unusable trash? From the seller standpoint, fucking eBay, dude. eBay used to be the shit for selling your old junk. I used to do it. I worked at a pawn shop for a couple of years, and like, I sold so much stuff on eBay. I actually sold so much stuff on eBay, like, it basically funded one of the stores that we ran. We had like 2 or 3 stores, and the one that I worked at was 100% paid for by the stuff I sold on eBay. You know, and now, like, they take such a big percentage, and they've got some real they've made some real bullshit rules, and it's like, it's basically just turned into Amazon Marketplace, where it's a bunch of, you know, foreign companies selling Chinese Alibaba crap at an exorbitant rate, you know, and you know it's Chinese Alibaba crap because they brag about, oh, it's at a U.S. warehouse, so you don't have to wait 6 weeks for shipping. It's like, yeah, because it's crap from China. You know, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I can't stand eBay anymore. And, you know, like, it's actually the whole eBay Live thing. Now, granted, I have used eBay Live for, like, buying precious metals before, and I've actually gotten some really stellar deals that way. But I've noticed that there's the majority of eBay Live is like people selling, doing the what do they call it, the pack rips, you know, with like the Pokemon cards and stuff like that. And like that alone has turned what used to be a fun game for children into a money making opportunity for losers, and it's just terrible. I hate to see it. You know, like I say, it's supposed to be a game for fucking kids, guys. It's a children's game. You are turning a children's game into a whole economy so that you can make, you know, fucking $30 off of a $200 card pack, you know, box of cards. And meanwhile, the children who want to play this game that's made for children, they can't. You know, they can't get the good cards. They can't really play the game because you fucking dickheads are out there buying up all the stock. You know, I hate it. The card scalping thing is just like, I say, I'm not into it. I haven't bought cards. I haven't played a card game in a long time. The most recent TTCG, whatever they call it, card game purchase I made was I bought some unopened vintage Magic card packs. What was it, Homelands or something like that? Like one of the expansion packs from back in the day when I was a kid. But like I bought some of those for me and my homies. You know, I haven't bought new cards. I did buy some Pokemon cards not that long ago. but you know, they weren't. It wasn't a deal where like I think I got them out of a vending machine, so packs had already been opened and the good cards had already been taken. And now I've seen this is something else I've seen that's kind of disgusting. Going to gas stations and they'll have Pokemon card packs, but they're in blister pack. They're not actually in the sleeve that the cards come in. They're in a blister pack, which means someone has bought the cards, gone through all the cards, taken all the good cards out. I guarantee you, it's the people that own the fucking gas stations. But yeah, they're taking all the good cards out and then they're creating their own packs, which I'm pretty sure is against the terms of use. It's not legal to do, and selling them that way. It's just terrible. Like I say, it's just awful that children can't play the children's game because people have found that there's value in the rarity of the cards. What do we got? What do we got? Sports crap. I don't care about sports crap. I don't know why I get the sports crap on my feed. Well, I do know why. It's because they pay for marketing to shove their crap down throats of people that don't want to see it. Yep, block them. But every time I see a sports feed and it's not something I care about, I block that shit. All right, let's see. Police in New Bern, North Carolina, asking folks to identify too many to cut down a flock. Somebody cut down a flock hammer. Darn it. Darn the luck. It's just terrible that there's all these people out here that don't want this Fourth Amendment violating technology put up all over the place. These supposed license plate scanners that they're putting up on bike paths and in playgrounds and lots of places that there's not a single license plate in view. Almost like they're using them to track our every movement and not just to monitor criminals. It's just awful that people can't stand that. I definitely do not support the individuals that are going around cutting these cameras down. I definitely do not think that they are true patriots who actually give a fuck about America and are standing up against tyranny. Yeah, I don't think that at all. Let's see. King Trump deported my friends, closed my school, forced me to work at a factory with mommy dog. Okay. How much meth do you think these people have to smoke to come up with this shit? Actually, that's kind of unfair. Because that's assuming that they need drugs in order to come up with this nonsense, and it's not just coming out of their own heads unbidden. King Trump. Okay. He's not a king. He's not gonna declare himself king. He's not a dictator. He's not gonna not refuse. Because remember the last time he was in office, and these exact same people told us that he's gonna refuse to leave office and he's gonna make himself a dictator and a king, and none of that fucking happened. Yeah. Dude, if anything, he's going to go to fucking Israel and run for office there. He basically admitted that's his plan, because he said something not that long ago about how he's more popular in Israel than the U.S., so he might as well go over there and run for office. I guarantee that's going to fucking happen. Okay, won't guarantee, but I'll say 80 to 90% chance that actually does happen. Because let's face it, the guy doesn't care about America. He's not America first. We'll put it that way. We'll just leave it at that. He's not America first. None of those guys, none of those politicians that are receiving money from foreign agents and foreign governments are America first, which is like almost all of them. Kind of sad. And yet you morons keep voting for him. Voting for them, sorry. Keep voting for them. Keep voting for the same two parties that have been selling you out and screwing you over your entire lives. And you just keep doing it because you don't know any better. You can't think anything different. No. I mean, technically, you guys both support that thing. I mean, again, haven't seen a single person from the Epstein list go getting charges, regardless of what party. So let's face it, let's be real. They all support it. Vegas hurting, revenues are good. Well, yeah, dude, Vegas has gotten insane. I'd never even been there before. I've seen some videos. People talk about how they go to Vegas every year, and the last couple of years it has gotten so expensive that they can't afford it. And these are boomers with money. This isn't some poor kid going on his honeymoon or something. These are boomers with good money that have been doing it annually for decades, and they're saying that, man, it's getting too expensive for us to come here. So if boomers with lots of money can't vacation there anymore. How do you think it's ending up for the rest of us? You know? Yeah, okay, those two things have nothing to do with each other. Good job. Well, you know what? Those kids from Sandy Hook probably would be in college if the Democrats in the state that run that state would have taken their killer's mom seriously whenever she told them repeatedly that he was a danger to society and needed to be locked up. But they didn't. They said, no, you're full of shit. He hasn't done anything wrong, even though he's well known to the police. And we see what happened. So that's what you get. That's what you get for trusting your government. And you want to trust the government to pass even more laws to keep you safe. What was it P.T. Barnum said? There's a sucker born every minute. There are between 400,000 and 500,000 untested kits. I can't say that word because YouTube's a fucking bitch. That's something else I wanted to mention. I was watching Leave It to Beaver this morning, and I realized that Leave It to fucking Beaver would be censored if you tried to air it on YouTube today. Like, we're bigger prudes than they were in the fucking 1950s, guys. Come on. All to protect your advertisers' money. But police, you will be put on trial. Ask what you're wearing. Not necessarily. That just depends. Depends on the cops. Good cops aren't going to act that way. PS5. Don't care. Yeah. Excuse me. It's all Switch 2 and PC from isn't Nintendo doing the thing with Switch 2? Basically where they sell you an empty case with the code in it, like Sony's moving to. Like, oh, you're angry that Sony is doing something that Nintendo already does, so to get back at Sony, you're going to go exclusively Nintendo. Does that make sense? Oh, and PC. Oh yeah, PC, because they sell a lot of discs for PC games nowadays, huh? Yeah. I can't remember the last time I bought a brand new PC game on disc. I have a fucking stack of vintage PC games on disc that I purchased at thrift stores and stuff over the years. I think my most recent one was Star Wars Jedi Academy because I like collecting that stuff. But yeah, like I say, I can't remember the last time I purchased a PC game and received a physical copy. No, I was thinking like the people that bought the Starfield, but no, that just came with a code too. So yeah, it's that's kind of idiotic. Again, it goes back to what I was saying. The fight about optical media, about physical media for your games. That fight was meant to be fought like almost a decade ago, man. You missed the boat, so deal with it. We've been people like me have been warning you guys about the encroaching digital surveillance and the upcoming you will own nothing and be happy society for decades. I've been bitching about this stuff since the early 2000s, since the fucking Patriot Act, since the DMCA were passed, and nobody has fucking listened to me. So pardon me if I don't really feel bad for you guys when you're now realizing, oh shit, we're fucked. Yeah, we're fucked, and it's your fault for not realizing it sooner and doing something about it, for not listening to people like me that tried to warn you. So you know what? We all get to suck hind tit and deal with it now. I don't want to hear your whining. All dick energy. Why are people so obsessed with dicks? Like I don't go around like fantasizing or thinking about other men's genitalia. I barely consider my own most of the time. I don't get why the people think that's like such a big insult. It's like, oh, you have a tiny penis. Like, you ask fucking Count Dank, you tell Count Dankula he's got a tiny penis, and he'd be like, yeah, I am. Like he's got the ultimate fucking ultimate response to that. And yeah, fuck you. my preferred response is, fuck, if this thing is small, I'd hate to see what a big one looks like. That's pretty good. You gotta admit, that's pretty fucking good. Feel free to take that and use it. Yeah, but this is what a small dick looks like. I'd hate to see a big one. Rip that bitch in half. Type of actions, lowest of low rent behavior. Pay your bills, you undignified parasites. Participate medical bills. Well, okay. So, right off the bat, you should pay your bills. If you owe money, you should pay it. That said, so apparently, medical bills don't affect your credit. And in many states, I won't say most, but in many states, if you don't pay it, there's really not shit they can do. Now, there are some states like Colorado where they are able to do things like they can like put a lien on your house if you don't pay, if you build up enough medical debt and don't pay it. Fun fact: I don't own a house anymore. And I have a little medical debt, but I am paying it. I do have a payment plan set up, and that's the other thing about it is if most states in the United States, like if you're making an effort to pay, if you're offering them some sort of payment, you're good. You just do what you can. Do what you can. I think I do like $100 a month because it's what I can afford to do. Is it ever going to get paid off? No, probably not. Because it's just going to keep building. I'm just going to keep building more medical debt. It's not like the cancer is going to go away. I'm going to stop needing all these tests and shit. And it's not like they're going to start covering those or giving it to me for free. So, like I said, I'm going to build up some medical debt over life, and it's going to outpace the $100 a month I pay towards it. But what do you fucking do? That's what I can afford, and I need the care. I can't be like, well, I'm not going to get a PET scan because I can't afford it. No, I need the fucking PET scan. So you do what you can. That's the thing. As long as you're doing what you can and you're honest and you're straightforward and you're at least trying, I think that's fair. I think that's good enough. Now like this situation where the guy's just like, no, I don't fucking pay that shit because they're not going to do shit about it. That's kind of a dick move. And it's shit like that is part of the reason why medical care is so expensive. Granted, the main reason is because insurance companies falsely inflate the cost of everything. But that's essentially shrinkage is what they would call that in retail. And that does affect the price of things. So, long story short, at least try to pay your bills. If you're putting in effort, it does count. I'll tell you that much. If you put in the effort, it does count. Sexualized characters from children's cartoons. Oh boy, yeah, that's not weird at all. That Rule 34, dude. Rule 34 is such a fucked up thing. It's legit. It's real. It is a thing that occurs. Which Rule 34, if you don't know, is basically, what is it? If there can be porn made of it, there will be porn made of it. If it exists on the internet, there will be porn. Essentially, so yeah, no matter what it is that you create, someone is going to make it pornographic. Just goes to show how kind of twisted our species is. Sexually obsessed. It's weird to me. But it is what it is. But yeah, that's kind of gross. That's kind of gross to take a character especially a character from a children's cartoon who's supposed to be a child in themselves. Like, I'm pretty sure that's like CP, man. Whatever they're calling it nowadays. That's not something you should be. Ooh. Hello. F in America, M249S semi-auto soft for 10,000. Oof. Oof. 10, jeez. Ooh. But the question is it belt fed? Because if it's belt fed, oh, yeah, you slap an FRT on that bad boy, you got a thing going right there, buddy. We got to start doing this. What's that? Checking on our homies?
Hey, broski, are you good?
Wait, I'm trying to see something. I'm trying to see something.
I'm just checking on you. Are you good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, because these white, I don't know if they harassing you. Just let me know if they harassing you. I got
racist ass motherfucker.
Hang out with me anytime, all right? For sure. All right, love, bro.
Wait, I'm trying to see something. I'm trying to see something.
Goddamn. They try so fucking hard to say that white people are racist, and then they do shit like that. And when you call it like, oh, you white people can't be racist, they could that was very clearly racism. Assuming that he's in danger because he's around white people, which statistically it's quite the opposite. And then like touching that guy, I mean, yeah, homie, you my bro, because he's black. Like, dude, if a white guy was doing that, y'all be losing your fucking minds. Yeah, another one about the black English thing. Oh man, we've fallen so far. It's like if the founders were alive today, man, they'd be losing their fucking minds. Stacking bodies left and right. Hang on, I gotta check this text message. House stuff. I gotta drop off earnest money. getting a pretty damn good rate. And looking for an insurance company. Yep. Eh. So we got a couple of companies competing for the loan. Rocket Mortgage is one of them, and the credit union that we go through. Which, by the way, never use a bank. Always use a credit union. Credit unions, you're a member, and they treat you like a member. A bank, you're not even a customer. You're a product. You are a product to the bank, and they are making money off of you. And you're getting nothing out of it. They're charging you fees so they can make money off of you. Whereas a credit union, like you're a member, you're invested in the company and the credit union itself. I get dividends. I mean, they're not a lot because I don't have a lot of money in there, but like I said, my credit union pays me dividends like quarterly, just for having my money with them. And they give us great deals on financing and stuff. They're really nice people to work with. I know a couple of the tellers by name. Always, if you can't, always go with a credit union over a bank. That is my endorsement of credit unions. They don't pay me to do this. They don't pay me to say it. But I've worked for credit unions in the past. I used to do IT work for credit unions. And like I said, they are chef's kiss compared to banks. That is the way to go. I say banks see you as a product. That's ultimately the best way to put it. Banks see you as a product. Credit unions see you as an owner. Not to say they're all the same. I've heard some pretty horrible things about one of the military credit unions who shall remain nameless, but ends in AA. I've heard some horror stories coming out of them. So like I say, they're not all good. They're not all perfect. Definitely make sure you do your research and shop around. But given the option, you're gonna get a better deal with the credit union than the bank. Moving on. When you pay for services provided by a private company, you generally get to pick based on it being fast, cheap, or done well. If service provided by the government, you don't get any of these as an option. Okay, yeah. So again, 20 years in IT, we had a saying. Do you want it done? You want it you want a project to be done. Okay, good, cheap, fast. Pick two. And that's not the universal, at least in IT, with any project. You can have it good and cheap, but it's not going to be fast. You can have it good and fast, but it ain't going to be cheap. You can have fast and cheap, but it ain't going to be good. And that's, like I say, that's definitely universal in IT. It probably applies to a lot of other industries too. But yeah, good, fast, cheap, pick two is a pretty universal statement, whenever it comes to getting work completed. I prefer good and cheap. I don't mind if it takes a long time. This is something I need done like immediately. I can take good and cheap and slow and not fast. Guy like the Odyssey. Is this the actor Tom Holland? Yes. Whatever. I don't care what celebrities think. Anti-rape device. Trapped kill victim on the spot. Well, I mean, hell, that's advocating against, any sort of self-defense mechanism. I personally like that. You're going to do some shit you shouldn't be doing, it should fucking hurt. Being stupid should fucking hurt. But of course, if they allowed the women, the other side of this, if they allowed a women to be armed, the whole trapped in pain man could kill the victim on the spot wouldn't be as big of an issue because while he's dealing with his, she could draw a weapon while he's dealing with his dick being fucked up. Made up stories. I love community notes, man. I fucking love this. Every social media site should have this, and it's like not fact checkers, like the way Facebook does their fact checking, where they have a company that they own, a company that they own and operate that does their fact checking for them, quote unquote. That's way too easy to be biased. And the community notes is awesome because it's people that use the site who know things, who have information, and say, yeah, no, that's not how this happened. And the best part is when people post this bullshit, if they get community noted, it demonetizes the post and they don't make any money off of it. So keep that in mind. Poetry. I don't like to get into religious debates, really, because I don't have any strong convictions one way or the other towards anything. I've taken like religions of the world classes, and I've read lots and lots of different dogma. I was actually pretty fascinated with religion when I was in college. So I know that this isn't really the way it's set up. This isn't really what the Bible says. I don't really want to get into it too much, but To keep a long story short, if you read Genesis, the first book of the Bible, it mentions other people than Adam. Adam and Eve aren't the only human beings in existence in Genesis. They're the only ones in the Garden of Paradise, but they're not the only humans that exist. There are other people in the world because when they get cast out, they go to the other people and join their tribes. And that's how Cain and Abel are born, actually. So yeah, I'm certain the community note here is going to say that or something to that effect. Let's see. First draft might have been avoided. Tyler Robson, an all-star team from day one. Okay. So trying to say that Carmelo Anthony had a bad lawyer and that's why he lost the case. No, man, that's not why he lost the case. I give his lawyer credit, man. That dude tried. I mean, he was making up some bullshit, obvious bullshit. The whole fucking maybe he fell on the knife. Maybe he tripped and fell on the knife. Like dude tried. Dude put in his best effort, and it just wasn't good enough because the motherfucker committed murder. There's really no way around that. Yep. They're not going to get a new judge. They're not going to get a new trial. He can appeal it. He can try to appeal it on the grounds of bad representation. You're basically saying that his lawyer didn't do his job, but from what I understand, his lawyer did a fine job. Like I said, he tried his ass off, and he just you can't get blood from a stone, man. I think it's really just it was probably just his family trying to keep the grift going. Because they made bank. Carmelo Anthony's family, they made bank off of him killing that white boy. And they're still trying to make that. They tried to do another after he got convicted. That was the funniest thing. After he got convicted, they tried to open another GoFundMe, which immediately got shut down because you're not allowed to create a GoFundMe for people that are convicted of, felonious fucking murder. And they're now butthurt about that. So, like I say, they're scrambling to try to find ways to keep grifting. But I guess more power to them, man. That seems to be the way it goes. That's why I'm a brokey, by the way. I'm an honest person. I don't grift. I don't bullshit people or try to get one over on others for my own advantage. And so yeah, I'm not super successful in this world. Does it bother me? Fuck yes, it bothers me. That's not how life should be. It shouldn't. The grifters and the criminals and the bad people shouldn't be the ones getting all the advantages and winning everything. Whatever happened to cheaters never prosper, right? Well, apparently that's something that cheaters came up with to trick all of us honest people into letting them do whatever the fuck they want and get away with it. I guess because it seems like cheaters prosper more than anybody else. So I guess actually more power to them, I suppose. The way I see it, I don't necessarily have any particular religious beliefs, but I do believe that in the end we all get what we got coming. So I sure wouldn't want to be sitting in their seat when it comes to their judgment day. That's all I'm going to say about that. License plate held. Rips license plate. Yeah, that's a good fucking point. How the hell did you just rip that plate off, man? That is the chintziest shit. Oh, I see. Because it's just held in with wait for it. Yeah, these cheesy little plastic tabs that just popped right out. I will say something though, man. Props to that license plate frame. That thing is sturdy as fuck. You try to do that to my license plate frame, it would just shatter when you pull, just snap right there. So yeah, what is that thing made out of? Adamantium? Jeez. Unobtainium. First rule of gun safety: never let governments that want to take your guns. See, that was the fourth rule. That's the one I couldn't remember. Yeah, never elect politicians that want to take your rights away. Oh, yeah, okay, so this is what pops up when you're already on a call. I don't have a problem because I know how to read. Yeah, please tell me she's not serious because she is. Yes, it's cooked. Oh, boy.
What country did the United States gain its independence from?
Europe.
at least she knows this bullshit.
I can't.
Who was the first president of the USA?
I can't.
He had a top hat.
Yeah.
What's his name? What's his name?
He had a
Abraham
top hat.
Lincoln?
Okay. What do you think?
Yeah, Lincoln. I think it's Lincoln too. They're going that top hat.
God.
Lincoln. What country is the Great Wall of China in?
Tokyo?
What language do the
Oh,
people
fuck.
in Idaho speak? Someone blurt it out.
Idahoan.
How many years are in a decade, Gemma?
Folks, we're cooked.
12.
How many are in a century?
So cooked.
500.
What is the closest star to Earth? Okay, relax, Fido. What the fuck?
The North Star. The sun. Oh, the
Hey!
The Lone Star.
What
Oh,
country
Lord.
is the Panama Canal in?
Yeah, Portugal.
I think they just gave me brain cancer. Oh my God. This is why. Let me guess. They went to school in California. Tiny fuse. Not getting into that argument either. That's a 20-year gap between you games for your customers who would age out of the hobby. Hey, you never age out of being a gamer, man. There are guys out there in their 80s and 90s still playing Tetris. I don't want to hear that shit. So at least 3 threes with that. That said, yeah, when each game comes out, when I'm a decade old, the game comes out when I'm in my 20s, the next one in my 30s, the next one in my 40s. So what, Elder Scrolls 7s, I'm going to be in my 50s. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be playing much Elder Scrolls 7 or 8, And from what I understand, I guess Microsoft went through and with the fucking axe and hacked off a whole bunch of positions at Bethesda. So God only knows what this is going to look like. I have no positive feelings about the future of the Elder Scrolls and the Fallout series, which is unfortunate because those are actually two of my favorite game series. Like lore wise, they're great games, very interesting. Fallout, I mean, shit. Fallout lore is just awesome. It's basically what like most post-apocalyptic stuff these days is based on. So it's kind of scared to see what direction that goes in. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. There we go. Nola's family retains Ben Crump. That's the guy's name. For answers. What answers is a race baiting fucking lawyer going to give
We
you?
have a huge update in the Wells case. So it looks like Ben Crump, a prominent civil rights attorney, and I'm sure
He's not a civil rights attorney. He's a race baiter.
a lot of people know who he is, has been retained by the family. And of course, some examples of his work include George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, right, Ahmaud Arbery, and of course, many
Yeah,
other
how'd those work out?
discrimination and civil rights violation type cases. Now, from what I'm reading, it looks like the family retained him specifically to
That
push for
sync
a
is so
thorough
off.
death investigation, right? Amid all sorts of rumors going around.
Why do I get the feeling that the family didn't approach him?
Like people really want to know. And
Like somehow something tells me that the race baiting grifter lawyer came to the family and said, "Hey yo, y'all need to hire me. Y'all need to hire me to be your lawyer."
To go in there and give a second opinion on whatever the cops find, because that's important, right? They found his body later. They're saying initial reports are saying no sign of foul play and those sorts of things. But remember, when Crump is involved, it's typically some sort of signal, right? Whether that's
The signal is that he's a race baiting piece of shit. Like you think just because a lawyer gets involved, all of a sudden it means that there's something there? What are you, fucking retarded? Like that's not how it works at all. So if I get a traffic ticket and I hire, I don't know, what's his name, the guy that represented Johnny, whatever, that represented OJ. I don't know if he's still alive, but I hire some high-end, well-known lawyer. Does that suddenly mean that there's something more to that situation than a traffic ticket? No, it just means that I want to fucking make sure that I get out of that goddamn ticket. Just like this. Does the race baiting grifter showing up mean that there's more to the story? No, it just means that he figured out he can make money off of this. That's all it comes down to.
foul play, inconsistencies, and maybe a systematic issue. Now, there's a lot of people saying that there's a bunch of inconsistencies with this.
He means systemic.
Why did this happen? This doesn't make sense. And
Motherfucker doesn't even know the right words to use.
None of it makes sense, but keep in mind two things. One,
lots of it makes sense. Lots of it fucking makes sense. You've got a bunch of drunk fucking teenagers partying on an island and one of them drowns. That makes perfect fucking sense. That happens all the goddamn time. You just never fucking care about it because it's not a black kid hanging out with his white friends. And you can't grift. You can't make money off of it.
There's alcohol involved and possibly drugs. I mean, people just do the dumbest shit. We know that. People do, especially college.
See, he admits it.
Sometimes nothing makes sense. The other thing is,
it makes perfect fucking sense.
Island. A lot. Somebody saw something, somebody heard something, right? Now, the video we saw today, it seemed like there was some sort of commotion going on. We don't know. But somebody said something, and I'm telling you, somebody's going to speak, and I bet you...
They probably saw his dumbass going out for a swim.
Maybe know what happened, but they want to make sure they tie up the loose ends before they release all that information to us. Now, one of those questions that people are wondering, what the hell happened is, why would he leave his phone on the boat? Well, there's water in between the boat and...
that's another thing. They're trying to make it sound like this island is like fucking Gilligan's Island or something, that he was marooned out there whenever they left. Dude, it's a party island that usually has dozens, if not more, boats around it, and hundreds of kids sitting there fucking partying, having a good time. It's not like he was just marooned, stranded, left by himself.
The island. So you wouldn't want to...
He was with a girl.
And ruin it, right? So that makes sense. Why would his friends leave him behind?
Because they didn't want to be cock blocks.
When you're sometimes and you're drunk and high, maybe you don't make the best decisions, right? And if he was
so you're out partying with your homies, right? And it's one of them's talking to a girl trying to hook up. Are you gonna be like, "Hey, nigga, we gotta get out of here. We gotta go do our thing"? No, dude, that's cock block. Don't fucking be that guy. Don't fucking be that guy. Let your brother get some fucking tail, man. At least try. Shit. And if he wants to hang out and try to get tail, and you want to get back, then let him fucking hang out and try to get tail. He'll find his own way back. I guarantee that's what they were thinking.
Talking to a girl, right? He just met that girl. Maybe things are getting hot and heavy. Your boys are not going to cock block you if you're busy.
Again, he acknowledges it.
Maybe
this fucking asshole. This is exactly what race baiting grifters look like. They will openly acknowledge that this is a normal situation and that there's probably nothing untoward going on, and then come up with some whole fucking completely made up concept of, white people aren't safe around white people. It's like, statistically speaking, quite the opposite situation in reality.
Somebody else there, were those the only people he knew? Could he have caught a ride back? Now, who knows?
I'm not going to name any specific numbers because that'll probably get me banned from fucking YouTube.
They took him out there and beat him up and murdered him. Maybe. I doubt it.
Now, again, so, and he says right there, I doubt it. Yeah, because if they had beat him up, as he said, beat him up and murdered him, then there would be evidence of that. There would be, wounds. There would be bruising. There would be lacerations. There would be there would be defensive wounds. There'd be some sort of indication that he had been assaulted, but there's not. Like I said, there's no evidence of that. So why are you even speculating about it?
But maybe that's the reason they lawyered up. Now,
well, this is a perfectly reasonable situation. But again, with the baiting shit,
a lot of people are making a big deal out of that too. But if those are my kids, and
fuck this guy.
I mean, would you let your kids talk to law enforcement? Because law enforcement, you've seen it. You've seen interviews where they trick people into saying certain things. So
excellent point.
Make sure they're properly represented, and that's everybody's right to get an attorney. It's always funny when you see some sort of law enforcement investigation or something like that. As soon as the guy asks for an attorney, the cop's just like, fuck, So obviously you want to do that, right? Because they probably know something.
Again, he acknowledges that lawyering up is a perfectly reasonable thing to do in this situation. But somehow it's also an indication that, something may have happened.
They've seen something and their parents did the smart thing. And the whole deleting their social media thing, I mean, you probably want to delete your social media too if everybody is calling you a racist and murderer.
You're getting fucking death threats.
Assuming before we have any evidence.
Guarantee they're getting death threats.
Now, that may be the case. Who knows, right? Again, he said, she said, but there's a lot of ears and eyes on that island. It's going to be an interesting one. And of course, I'll keep you guys up to date whenever I find out any sort of new information.
Lord, this is going to turn into just another message. Just constantly trying to use race to keep us divided. It's all part of the plan. It's all part of the design. Because as long as we're fighting with each other, we're not paying attention to what they're doing. That's fucked up. So, oh hey, why'd you do that? Don't do that. So I'm gonna take a quick little break here to plug for my Ko-Fi page. If you'd like to leave me a tip, I can't use the word donate because apparently I'm not a charity. You can only do that if you're a registered charity, which, yeah, okay, whatever. But yeah, if you'd like to leave me a tip, help me out a little bit, help me pay my medical bills, it would be greatly appreciated. You can find my Ko-Fi link. It is in the chat and is most likely in the video description as well. I think I did that on all the different services I stream. I'm streaming on Twitch, Kick, Rumble, and YouTube right now. So if you're on one of those platforms and you don't see the link, maybe check one of the other ones out. It's ko-fi.com/non-combatant NPC. Pretty easy to get to. And I'm sure if you just Google Ko-fi and non-combatant NPC, it'll come right up. So yeah, like I said, if you'd like to help me out financially, I would greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, enjoy the stream. I'll be here. Let's see. I'm 2 hours in. I'll probably hang out for another couple hours. I may have to take a break at some point. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a break right now because I got to pee. And I'm not going to go. I usually have a we'll be right back screen, but I got copyright struck on it for some reason. So I'm going to go and switch that, but I'm going to stop the song. So I'll be back in a minute. Nope, I didn't mute myself. Now you guys know I'm back talking about talking about bagels. All right. Woo, good stuff. All right, so let's see. Had my pee. I grabbed me a little snack. Got my headphones all tangled up here. What the hell did I do? Hang on. There we go. A problem solved. Okay. All right. Where were we? Back to here, I guess. What up? Oh, right. Before I do that, I'm gonna be looking on the side here. I'm checking my other screen. Let's see. Hey, I haven't been banned on YouTube yet. Wait. Where's it at? Where are we at on this? Hey, okay, cool. We're there. Bam. Sweet. Okay, cool. Not banned. I expect that to happen eventually. And let's see. Okay, so the Ko-fi link is showing up in YouTube. It is showing up in Kick. It is showing up in Twitch, but not Rumble for some reason. So let me just real quick. I'm just gonna do a little copy paste here. Let's get that there and that there. Okay, now it's in the chat in Rumble. So groovy. If you're on Rumble or something and you want to leave me a tip, there's my Ko-fi link. I very much appreciate it. So let's get back to the business. All right. So we're aware of this. I've never seen Breaking Bad. I have to admit, there's a lot of shows that people are like, "Oh, this is the greatest show ever." I've never seen it. I did watch most of Game of Thrones, all except like the last season, I think, which, from what I understand, I'm better off. Let's see. This is like actual communism. No, actually, it's not. Lowering the price of the pump to $3.47, dude. It's already fucking $3.47. You didn't lower shit. All right, let's see.
I just wrote a $4 million check the other day to the IRS.
Woo!
That's paying for literal. What are we doing?
Oh yeah.
How much is your transition cost?
3.
Why? Because my body is priceless. No.
State of Colorado, by the way.
Colorado taxpayers.
Yeah. Yeah, I fucking paid for that shit. I paid for that man to get man boobies.
Federal, right? Just Colorado? I hope that, because I just wrote a $4 million check. I have nothing wrong with trans, but
don't get me
Wrong
wrong.
button.
I don't think it should happen either, but I did abuse the system.
I don't think it should happen, but I definitely took advantage of it.
the government, the taxpayers paid for your test.
I mean, I pay taxes too, so.
I just wrote a $4 million check the other day.
Yeah, but you don't pay enough in taxes to cover that, dude. Yeah, yeah. Fun fact. If you live in Colorado, your taxes pay for men to get boobies. Among other bullshit that your taxes pay for. But I couldn't get my cancer meds for 2 months because they were too expensive. But the state will buy boobies for men. Make that make fucking sense. Yeah, socialism suffers from the knowledge problem. That's one reason it fails. Ask me what the knowledge problem is. I don't know. I don't have that knowledge. Yeah, Marx didn't predict shit. Marx was a lazy loser that just wanted to mooch off of everybody else for his entire life. He basically came up with an entire system of government so he could mooch off people for the rest of his life. Everybody thinks they're going to be Karl Marx when they're... Everybody thinks that when the communist revolution comes that they're going to be Karl Marx just chilling on their buddy's couch writing fucking books. When it's like, when the reality is, that's cute, comrade. Now get back in the fucking salt mines. Dig that fucking ditch. Face the wall sort of shit. Look up the phrase useful idiot. Protesters in Australia planning to protest against Australia's relationship with India. I can get that. I get that. People are getting tired, man. People in first world countries, I'm getting tired of the government's importing endless amounts of third worlders to take our jobs and our housing and drive up the cost of everything. There's going to be backlash. And the longer it goes on, the more they ignore people, the worse that backlash is going to be. And it's going to be taken out against the people that don't actually deserve it. You know, that's what's sad. Yeah, they're building the helipad at the White House. Okay, so I kind of hate all this shit they're doing at the White House, and just because it looked beautiful before, and now it looks like shit. That's my only problem with it. I don't care about the money being spent. I don't care about the utility of it. It looks like shit. This looks like absolute shit. This used to be a beautiful green lawn, and it's gonna look horrible. You know, I'm like, isn't there already a helipad at the White House? So why do they need a new one? Just cause? You know, so the fat old fuck who runs our country, whoever he happens to be, doesn't have to walk more than 100 yards. Headphone jacks would make every much stuff volume up and up. Nah, no, it didn't. Nah, people were doing that shit before the headphone jack was gone. You probably are too young to remember this, but back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s, we had these things that we called ghetto blasters. And what a ghetto blaster is a very large portable stereo, essentially. They were battery powered, and people used to, you may have seen this in old movies or something. People used to literally walk around holding this gigantic ass radio, battery powered radio on their shoulders. With they had like 8-inch speakers, and they were nothing to fuck with. But yeah, be walking around the street with a big old huge stereo on the shoulder, just blasting music, fucking jamming out to that shit. Like that was the thing. Yeah, like I said, we called them ghetto blasters. Guess where that connotation came from? So yeah, it's been a thing for a long time, buddy. There have always been people out there that don't give a shit about anybody else. They only care about themselves, and it's that main character syndrome. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, killing headphone jacks isn't what made everyone watch loud stuff in public. Main character syndrome is what made people do that. It's just how it's been expressed has evolved over time. Which election we talked about, because they say it's every 2 years. One editor said we could be one election cycle away from GOP fascism. Do you think that's hyperbole, or is American democracy really that fragile? Oh yeah, the whole the whole next time a Republican every time a Republican gets elected, they scream that he's going to declare himself a dictator, and he never does. The sad irony is that when you want to talk about dictatorial actions, it's not the Republicans really doing that most of the time. And there's both parties. You ever notice whenever the only thing that you ever get bipartisan agreement in is shit that screws the rest of us over? Like AI surveillance everywhere. Yeah, they all agree on that. They all want to put those fucking flock cameras up everywhere. Which party's against that? The libertarians, the ones that you're told are crazy and not to vote. The ones that Democrats and Republicans constantly tell you don't want to vote for. They're the only ones that are fighting against this shit. Good fucking dog. I have no idea what that black bear was doing. Black bears aren't typically aggressive. So yeah, that's crazy. I wonder what it was running from. Yeah, like I said, that's wild. Because like I say, black bears are typically very non-aggressive. They run from humans, not towards them. To have a bear running at a kid like that, man, that's I wonder why. That's usually a bad sign for the environment, because it's if they're that desperate for food that they're willing to go after a human, that's what the hell's going on there? Are they overpopulated? Is their food source gone? Have people encroached on their territory too much? I don't see locks on the trash can, so they can, looks like they can access the trash, so that shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, that's weird, man. That was a weird situation. Dominican Republic, Army stopped vehicle, 20 people inside. Oh, we gotta see this. It's the clown car. Remember clown cars? Oh, goodness. He's counting them off. Okay, that's what that is. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's as far as the 10 is as far as I can count in Spanish. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Fucking help me out. Like, hell no. I feel like they could have fit a few more people in that. The SUV filed a complaint with the manufacturer. I was sold as a family size, not a village edition. It says 7 seats, not 7 generations. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But yeah, I say that's amateur shit, man. They could have fit at least like 3 or 4 more people in there. You ever seen high school kids? I don't know if they do this anymore, but back when I was in high school, we used to like do this shit where they try to stuff as many kids as they could into like a Volkswagen Beetle or a phone booth or something like that, a porta potty. Like, you ever seen high school kids stuff sells in a porta potty, man? It's amateur shit. There's tons of free space. I see all sorts of space in that roof line there. You could have put 2 more people on top. Voters have changed the funniest thing. Labor says it won't stand against this guy, whoever it is. Only count bin face. What? They have a guy running for office who wears a trash can. Hell of it. UK, if you can vote for this guy, you need to vote for this guy. I don't care what his positions are. That is exactly the kind of unhinged shit that we need in the world today. We need more of that. We need more of that. More entertainment. Let's respect your traditions while we ignore yours. Muslims demand churches stop ringing bells on Sunday. This is a Muslim day. See, this is what people talk about. So this is why you don't want Islam to become the majority religion where you live. Because as soon as it does, they start trying to make the fucking rules. And that's, again, that's not how it works in this country. But, they'll come in as a minority and then they'll act like victims until they become the majority. And then they act like you're fucking rulers. This is a Muslim majority town. You have to respect us. Actually, motherfucker, it doesn't matter who's in the majority. I don't have to respect a single fucking thing because I'm an American, and I have this thing called the constitutional right to tell you to go fuck yourself, that your religion is false, and that your beliefs are not compatible with Western society. I have every right to fucking say that. So suck it. Almost said a gamer word. Gotta remember, I'm streaming on YouTube now. I can't say those gamer words as much as I might want to. It's just real quick. YouTube has like the lamest restrictions. Again, that's they would censor Leave It to fucking Beaver if it were aired on the platform today. They the one of the episode I was watching specifically, they were talking about some girl in school said something about Wally, about how he was naive and immature, and his buddy was like, "Oh man, if Wally heard that, he might sewer slide himself." And yeah, like I said, like if I said the actual word, or if you were watching Leave It to Beaver, and they said they would have to censor that. They would have to censor. Think about this. They would have to censor Leave It to Beaver. Leave It to Beaver, the case study in wholesome television shows would be censored if it aired on YouTube today. So what does that fucking tell you about YouTube? But I can drop F-bombs all day. That's not that big a deal. But if I use certain descriptive English terms, I'll get demonetized at best and banned at worst. Fuckers would have banned Word Cleaver. That's insane. I don't want to read about. I don't even want to read about that. I'm reporting the Bible on Steam. What? Is there a Bible game? Let's see. I don't want the actual link. So is it just like straight up the Bible? Not even a game? Well, let's find out. The Bible, okay. A digital recreation of the Bible in Connect novel form. Read through and study passages in the order with an original sound. Okay. Listen to the greatest story ever told in audiobook. Featuring the trivia section to find out how well you really know the stories of old. Well, that's cool. I actually like the trivia section. That's neat. That's a neat idea. So, okay. Oh, it's got several different versions and translations. That's also neat. Oh, there's your trivia section. Deuteronomy is like the worst book of the Bible. There's a Tower of Babel constructed. Yo, Mama. Okay, I gotta say, whenever it does this, I kind of want to check it out. But whenever it does this, gives you this correct screen, I should do the like angelic chorus thing. That should be like fire and brimstone demon sounds. It's on a cross. Okay, it's not a crucifix. That's another thing. A little bit of education for y'all if you don't know this. A cross is a cross. A crucifix is a cross with a dead guy stuck to it. Okay, so if somebody says, "Oh, that's a crucifix," and it's just a cross, it's not a crucifix. It's only a crucifix if there's a dead guy stapled to it. There's a little education for you there. Ark of the Covenant. Don't open that up. Got some Nazi faces melting. Okay, Bible passages. Somebody reported this. What a fucking douche. Okay, so that makes me wonder, is the Quran? I don't know if I'm spelling that right. It is. Right there. Digital version of the Quran. Developers Quran on Steam. Developers Bible games. Just curious. Okay, and then now these guys published this. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's try the Talmud. No Talmud. I wonder why. Legit, like I don't know why. Okay, so that's interesting that you can get digital versions of the Bible and the Quran on Steam. 8% off the summer sale. I might actually buy that. I like Bible stories. Yeah, Proverbs is a really good book. It's just good advice. Hitler, Bunker, BDSM. Man, God loves Steam. God love a platform that allowed damn near anything in this day and age. Like, that's so cool. I'm not saying that that's a cool game, but it's just cool that they allow this shit, you know? Like, you want to publish some dumbass crap, political crap? Go nuts, buddy. Have fun with that. It makes me want to make some lame, stupid political game just to see what happens. Yeah, imagine being afraid of a book that you don't have to read. Imagine being afraid of, you know, knowledge. Yeah, that's crazy to fucking report that shit. That just goes to show, you know, atheists like to be like, well, I don't care. I'm not a religious person. I don't care about other people's beliefs. But then they'll do everything they can to try to denigrate and attack other people's beliefs, specifically Christianity. Like, I really think those people shouldn't call themselves atheists because they're not. They're just anti-Christian. You know, they got no problem with Islam or, you know, Jews or Hindus or Shintos or any other religious faith on this planet. They have no problem with it. It's just Christians. So why not just be honest and call yourselves anti-Christian? That was stupid. I'm sure you've been seeing this loop. But yeah, pro tip. Don't try to trip a fucking cop, especially when they already have you in handcuffs. Sweet the leg, Johnny. Right there. It was at this moment he knew he fucked up. Yeah, that dude ain't shit. Yep, that was deserved. The first crime in space. What? Has someone committed a crime in space? What sort of crime can you even commit in space? From once a month to once a week. 5 former Georgia police officers been arrested and charged for allegedly misusing flock cameras. Oh, what a surprise. Let me guess. They were using them to stop people that either pissed them off or they wanted to bang. Because that seems to be the way that it works. Or their ex. That's the other one. White supremacists work important jobs is somehow an insult. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I love how supposedly white supremacists are simultaneously fat, dumb rednecks and rich, wealthy, or, you know, rich, well-educated people at the same time that are in great physical shape. All right, here we go. Perfect thing. So yeah, it is off the coast of Mississippi. I was right. So yeah, this is Horn Island. This is where that kid lost his life, which again, horrible tragedy, regardless of what went down. But so it's not like some tiny little, you know, teeny tiny like this, not a teeny tiny little piece of land sticking out of the world. Like, this is a good sized chunk of fucking land. This is several miles long, you know, and there were tons of people. This island, it's a known party island, so it's usually like lined with fucking boats. So the dude wasn't there by himself, you know, even though they left him, he still wasn't there by himself. Nobody came out, nobody's come out and been like, oh yeah, I saw somebody murder that guy, like, or saw him get into a confrontation or anything like that. Which again, that may change in time. We'll have to see where things go because it's still pretty early on. But like I said, it's a big island. There were lots of people there. Brother's trying to mac on a girl. I ain't gonna cock block him. Let's get out of here. You know, give him his space. I can totally see that as being legit. And then, dude, for whatever reason, went out in the water, got caught in the current, and drowned. It happens. It happens a lot, actually. It's just nobody ever cares, except in this one instance. Yeah, people who can grow up on boats and don't understand normal summer water activity should sit this one out. There are 50 boats with people who loosely knew him to give him a ride back. It's not Gilligan's Island. Exactly. Like I grew up on lakes and rivers in Missouri. You know, I wasn't an ocean kid, but lakes and rivers will fucking kill you too, just as quick. You know, especially rivers. Like I've been pulled under by some undercurrents that if I didn't know how to swim, if I wasn't, especially in my youth, an excellent swimmer, I would have fucking died. They might not have ever found my body. You know, I've not seen it happen personally, but I've been on the river when it happened. You know, and it's always a horrible tragedy, but you know, people don't automatically assume that it's murder most of the time. Oh yeah, I swear Amazon Prime used to be next day, now it's 3 to 5 business days. Yeah, exactly. Like I signed up for Amazon Prime like 15 years ago because it was 2-day free shipping. That's the only reason I have Amazon Prime. I don't give a shit about their TV shows or any of the other crap that they say is a service. I don't want any. I don't want that. I want my 2-day shipping. That's what I want. That's what I pay for. That's what I want. And it seems like that's just not the case anymore. You know. Now, granted, right now I live like literally a mile from a distribution center, so I do get a lot of stuff pretty quick. But like I say, there's times that, you know, it's prime shipping, you know, but it's not going to be here for a week, and it's like that's not what I paid for, guys. It's crazy that companies can charge you. You can sign up for a thing, and then the company can change the terms of that agreement at any time, and there's nothing you can do about it except stop paying for it. You know. Entirely appreciate the advantage you change. You have the same when you truly realize. I don't know. I wouldn't need to change if I was, you know, good, right? Like if I'm doing things right. Although I guess technically, like the way that, at least in Catholicism, you know, you always strive to be better. That's kind of the goal there. You always want to try to be a better person. No matter how good of a person you are, you can always be better, and you should always try to do that. And I think that's what they mean there by Christianity demands you to change. You know, it's like, yeah, even if you're the best person in the world, you can still do better. Try harder, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's, you know, that's actually a good thing to think that, you know, no matter how hard I try, I'm never a good enough person, so I should continually try to be a better person. Like tell me what's negative about that, you know? Oh, well, I don't want to think of myself as a bad person. Well, you don't have to. You know, you can still be a good person and realize that you're still not that you could do better, you know? Like I'm that way, you know. I'm off the internet, at least. On the internet, I can be a real prick. In real life, I'm actually like the nicest dude you'll ever meet. I'm extremely helpful. I'm extremely kind and polite, you know, pleases and thank yous left and right, always trying to help people. Even if I'm physically incapable of it, I would still attempt to help, you know, because it's the right thing to do. And no matter how good I do, I recognize that I could still do better. Again, I could try not being such a dick on the internet. It's not easy. And honestly, I kind of do it, not intentionally, but it's a good release for me, you know, because let's face it, no matter how good of a person you are, you're going to get pissed about stuff. The chances are you're going to get pissed about stupid stuff. And so, you know, like I say, we can always try to do better, and that's not a bad thing. What's up, Gundo? That's this flesh fuck. Roast it being dog water, and that would be convenient. Yeah, probably. And also with, like, say, with them gutting the Bethesda, you know, say Microsoft is getting rid of a bunch of the developers. That's definitely not a good sign for the future of the franchise. What? Oh, hang on. Look at emails. What is this? Doo-doo. Okay, I don't know. I don't effing know. Anyway, actual billboard as you leave Wyoming. Ah, all right, 25. Okay, I'll have to drive that way. I'll have to come down at that some. I'll have to go up Cheyenne and come down this way at some point just to see that. That's good. That's a good one. The leftist puke that works at Starbucks. Threw in the trash. All the pins that someone brought in to donate to veterans. Wow, what a piece of shit. All right, let's see what this piece of shit has to say.
If I worked today and gave my coworkers a bunch of little pins that said, "We kneel for the flag" and other USA patriotic bullshit, just know that the second you walked out that door, I gathered every single one of them up. And when no one was looking, they went into the trash can.
You're a petty little loser. I hope you get fired.
With you. And I really don't play like that. Like, you told me to hand them out to veterans. Well, you told my coworker. And guess what? No veterans.
So So they didn't even address this dickhead directly. He observed them giving the pins to his coworker and saying, "Hey, would you please hand these out to veterans?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure, cool." And then when they weren't looking, this little prick went and threw the shit away. I hope you never find another fucking job again, you piece of shit. Oh, actually, no, I take that back. Because then we'll have to support him with our taxes. I hope you never get a good job. I hope you're a Starbucks barista for the rest of your fucking life, because that's all you deserve. Assaultive features. California AG says the state's assault ban should be even more strict to stop workaround products on semi-automatic with assaultive features. Assaultive features. That's a new one. That's a new term. I love it when new words get invented. I do enjoy Steve Inman's videos. If you don't follow him, you should.
Welcome back to Brazil, where we have a lady playing Candy Crush on her phone, a little bit distracted because she's on level 12, but...
Yeah, always pay attention when you're in public, man. Situational awareness will save your life.
Oh yeah, leave it up to the thief to ruin that.
Boom! Yes! Fuck yeah, bro. Yeah! Nice. Boom! Nice kick. Dude, another one. You ain't going nowhere. This is what you like to see. I'll tell you what, I'll bet he thinks twice the next time before he goes steal somebody's phone. He will definitely give pause before his next criminal action. Yeah, you deserve that, piece of crap. You're like, oh, you shouldn't hurt somebody over stealing. Yes, you should. You should hurt them. Again, being stupid should be painful. Being a piece of shit should be even more painful. Don't care about Mr. Beast. The only thing I'll say about Mr. Beast is I'm hard pressed to believe that like full quarter of the world's population is subscribed to his channel and watches his shit. I hadn't even heard of the guy until he hired Brandon Herrera for a thing he was doing. And apparently he was already like super popular at that point. So I barely even know who that dude is. Kind of seems like a D-bag. That's my personal opinion. This mayor be pull up for the turn. Turn the blue lights of Azera. What? Why would a public official have blue lights?
Let me see your ID.
That doesn't make any sense. Cute
This,
doggo though.
Police car? Is this your personal?
Yeah.
This is your personal? This is a police car?
I'm elected official.
Excuse me?
He don't want to answer because he knows he's cooked.
So is this a police car? So why does that have police lights?
Yeah, why's he got fucking blue lights, man?
So you have police lights, and I just engaged.
So again, for the record, for people who don't know this, blue lights are exclusive to emergency services. Like you can't just throw a blue light on your car and run it. That is super fucking illegal. Same with a red light. You have to have certain certifications to be able to run a red light on your vehicle. Now with the red light, you can, first responders can get that, volunteer firemen, stuff like that. But again, they have to be certified to run the red light. You can't just go out and buy a red light, stick it on your car, and start flashing at people. It doesn't work that way. Blue light, like I say, blue light is strictly law enforcement and EMS. You cannot get that you cannot be using that unless you're law enforcement or EMS. Orange light, anybody can run. You don't need any sort of certification. Amber, orange, whatever you want to call it. I think amber is technically the term for it. But yeah, so amber, anybody can run it. Red, first responders and volunteer firemen can run it if they have the right certifications. Blue, only EMS and police and fire. Only actual emergency services.
You on a traffic stop, and you engage your police lights for me to let you go after you committed an infraction. That's exactly what happened. You're a mayor.
Good on this cop.
You engage your police lights. That right there is a criminal offense that can take you to jail very easily.
Yeah.
If you know the statutes, you know that right there is
Yeah, like that's a
criminal
real
offense.
fucking
So I
crime
don't
too.
care if
That's
you're
like
the mayor.
impersonating a police
If
officer.
I'm stopping you and you're not a police officer, you need to stop and not engage your police lights. I'll be right back.
Say good on this cop. We need more of this. We need more cops that are willing to keep the politicians accountable. You wearing some sort of like uniform shirt too? That's weird.
Registration.
That's weird, man. By the way, if you're watching the stream, please leave a comment in the chat. Let me know you're here. Say hi. I won't be too mean to you. Can't make any promises though.
So this is not the registration for this vehicle. Thanks.
Let's see. But there's like nobody watching, so haha. Wunderbar. That's okay. That does not hurt my feelings.
Insurance, I'll have to do on my.
Okay.
I'm just trying out the earlier stream anyway to see if maybe I get more views. I probably need to do better with my titles and stuff, and I need to start doing clips. I know that helps a lot. So again, if anybody is watching and you know of a good service, like a clipping service that doesn't charge too much, because I'm kind of a brokey on disability, let me know. Shoot me a comment, shoot me a DM or something. Otherwise, I'm going to have to figure out how to build an AI agent to do it for me because I don't have time. But I know that doing clips would probably help out a lot, so I really need to do that. See, there we go. Count the line. I suppose more. Word I can't say deeds. Please delete your repository. Oh, I'm sure this is going to be good. As you know, we turn miles of code by scraping open source repositories on GitHub. A recent root cause analysis showed that the code in this repository is so bad that it single-handedly reduced average modeling performance by 91%. They have clearly not seen my repositories on GitHub. If you've never opened the repository, there's 21% chance that we would have already cured cancer. Oh, come on. Please delete this repository immediately. OpenAI. Oh, man. I don't know how many fuck yous I could send them on that. So many fuck yous. Like, you know what? I'm going to put even worse fucking code in there. Yeah, poison the data. Don't let it go. Make it dumber. Yep, poison that fucking well, man. That's what I tell them. So, you know what? Not only am I not going to close the repository, I'm going to put even more shitty code in there just to screw you over. Maybe you shouldn't be stealing other people's fucking shit, to make your billions. And it's like, yeah, so you admit that you're using my work to make your money, but you're not paying me for it. Isn't that theft? Are you basically admitting to theft here, right? Just because it's open source doesn't mean that you can sell it for profit. It depends on how it's licensed. Because if it's licensed like a, CC no commercial, for example, then you can't do that. That's illegal. That is a violation of the license. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go through and I'm going to update the licenses on all everything I put online to CC by attribution, no commercial, so that companies like AI can't scrape my shit and make money off of it. Or if they do, I can sue them. That would be awesome, actually. I may have figured something out here. Anyway, underperforming at chess and darts has been explanation. Yeah, I guess that's a good question. Darts, especially. What if it has something to do with Amy? She can get struck by lightning and black plate resynced. Okay. I saw one yesterday where they were talking about how it's a stealth game. You're supposed to play stealth, not just run around hacking people up. Okay, then don't give me 2 swords and a fucking flintlock, man. Like if you don't want me doing a hack and slash, then don't give me the tools to do a hack and slash. Give me the tools, buddy. I'm gonna use them. Agility of the female officer. Oh boy. Sure, this is gonna be good. Oh, better run. It's firecracker. Ah! The fuck? Is that an actual cop? And he's like, hey, you okay? I think somebody just, there at the end, somebody threw one like right fucking at her. Yeah, right there. Oh, man. Why'd the video have to end there? It's just getting good. It's hilarious. Some crackhead had to come save her and check on her. Ski through a post-nuclear Arctic. Okay. That's a big town for the Arctic. That's a lot of outdoor space.
Might save my life, this.
Like, you know, motherfuckers in the Arctic, like, do everything they can to spend as little time outside as possible, right? Are you really bad at that? Yeah, they cut that because that was a bad move. Right? Motherfuckers wearing a tracksuit and, you know, just fucking cloth gloves. Not freezing to death. Come on. Come on now. Someone thinks the government is helping people. Yeah, that's about right. Oh boy, more terrible life hacks. Let's see. Wait, what was that? What's he sticking under there? Okay, it's a sponge. Okay. What are you doing? What even was that? What's wrong with the internet? She had a great meeting with Mitch McConnell. Sports legislation for real constitutional carry, abolishing ATF, repealing the NFA. Yeah, hell yeah, man. I had the same conversation. He was all about it. Oh, and he wanted to take down all the flock cameras, too. Yeah, he said they were very anti-American. And like the worst thing the government's done in the last decade, other than printing 41% of all dollars in existence and deflating our currency so much that, you know, we can't afford shit anymore. That was a pretty big fuck up. Mitch was very, very upset about that. Is PC the best option all along? Yes. Yes, it was. PC Gaming Master Race all the way. Nothing against, I mean, I own consoles. Don't get me wrong. You know, they were wonderful when I was a child growing up. Made games very accessible and you know, easy to learn. But when it comes to like the variety and the possibilities of what you can do, yeah, PC gaming is superior by a long shot. Great, consoles have come a long way. You know, they're basically PCs in themselves. So at this point, it's not much of an argument. It's mostly vendor lock-in. Like that's the biggest argument I have against consoles today is vendor lock-in. Like if I want to play games, if I want to play I want the most variety of video games possible. You know, do I get an Xbox that only plays Xbox games? Do I get a PlayStation that only plays PlayStation games? Or do I get a PC that will play any game that's available for PC, which are a fucking lot from every generation? Like, okay, so I get a PS5, I can play PS5 games, right? I don't know if it's backwards compatible with any other PlayStations, but let's assume it's not. So PS5 plays PS5 games. You know, Xbox plays Xbox games. Doesn't play Xbox One or Xbox 360 or original Xbox games. It only plays Xbox games. PC plays PC games. Doesn't matter what era of PC. You can play. My PC will play a game from the 1980s just as well, if not better, than one that came out last week. and everything in between, every PC game in between, I can still play on my computer. I can find a way to play it on my PC. You know, if it's an old 32-bit game, well, by God, there's an emulator for that. You know, or even if it's a console game, there's an emulator for that too. If it's console exclusive and never came out on PC, emulator. You know, like there's a way to play whatever game you want on PC, all like 90 some odd % of the time. And then you also have the option you can adjust options, you can adjust graphics, you know, you can make all sorts of changes to make the game either run better or look prettier. You can often choose your own control interface. So you don't like using PC and mouse or keyboard and mouse, that's fine. You can run it. Most games allow you to run a joystick, controller. And if it doesn't do it natively in the game, well, there's a third-party app that you can use that'll translate your controller movements and stuff to keyboard control. So basically the same thing. You have to do a little setup, but you can make it happen. You know, you want to play with an assistive device, you can make that happen. You want to build a fucking rig. You want to build your own tank simulator with, you know, functioning fucking cannon action. By golly, you can do that. You can make it work. You want to turn it into an arcade machine and play every arcade that has every arcade game ever made on it. Oh, you can do that too. You know, so yeah, the PC is definitely the way to go when it comes to gaming, like every time. The only reason to continue with console gaming at this point is because you're locked into that ecosystem and you're okay being stuck with that. Oh yeah, and all those Xbox games, you can play them on PC. You know, the only thing is like PlayStation and Switch exclusives were the only thing that might be an issue. And eventually there's going to be an emulator for that. So, you know, you just have to wait. If you have to play the latest PS5 exclusive game right now today when it comes out, then yeah, get a PS5 because there's no other way to do that. You know, if you're cool with waiting a couple years to play that game till somebody comes up with a good emulator for PC, go with PC. It's 1,000 times more useful. And that's not even mentioning all the PC things you can do with it. It's a computer. You can do computer stuff with it. Crazy idea. Project Aeon AI desktop leak demo. Oh, that's probably terrifying. 22 minutes. Yeah, I could probably fast forward.
Only demo video.
Yeah, let's actually see some of that video.
Vion is the AI-driven Copilot start menu, powered by Sydney, Avalon, a custom version of Codex, and native integration of your M365 graph.
I don't know what any of that is.
Copilot Start is a singular experience that pulls together the latest from your M365 feed, your favorite tools including native support for websites, MetaOS and PWAs, contextual suggestions, and previous conversations, all at the press of one button. Copilot Start includes a multimodal Omnibox, which lets you browse the
multimodal Omnibox.
What a term.
That's just a fun phrase to say.
Right?
Multimodal Omnibox.
Multimodal Omnibox.
Okay, now I'm thinking like most of you, I understand.
So it's an everything box that does multiple things multiple ways.
Them all together
and everything.
Multimodal Omnibox. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, it's a multimodal Omnibox. Great.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I might not have a multimodal Omnibox on my start menu.
I just saw that. That's gross. All web-based. All web-based, all AI. That is disgusting. So basically, they're saying that you're always going to have to be connected to the internet. Your PC's always going to have to phone home. There's no offline work. You know, your internet goes down, or you don't have internet, or you don't want to use the fucking internet. Well, too bad. It's got to be connected so that it can talk to the servers. Make sure your license is registered and you paid your subscription. You know, because you can't just buy the fucking OS anymore. Now it's a subscription.
The web, run a tool, and more. It includes autocomplete and autosuggest to help you complete requests faster.
I don't
and using a local
need my computer to think for me. I'm not
to the consumer or enterprise versions of Copilot, depending on your context. Notice how actions you take from the Copilot Start menu instantly morph to become its
that's what I want. Yeah, I want my computer to make decisions for me.
Window on the desktop and on the taskbar.
Instead of applications, you have AI spaces where you're doing an AI thing.
So websites.
Like one particular AI task, researching a thing or creating a thing or having AI write your term paper for you or whatever. Yeah. And that space is now your application, right? Because we don't have applications anymore in this view of the world. It's all AI.
Right, because applications you actually own.
Smashed up into little windows.
Well, you don't actually own. You have a license to.
Even chats
They aren't
become
even
their
cool
own
with you just
window,
having a license. They want
including
even
an
more control.
AI-generated icon, allowing you to multitask with Copilot easily. The Omnibox also supports context IQ, so whenever you type a slash, you can tap into the power of your M365 data.
What if I just want to use a slash?
Again, and that Microsoft 365
What do I want to say? And
data,
slash
what
or.
they're talking about there is every document, every email,
It's snarfing up all your
every
shit.
spreadsheet, every PowerPoint. They have access to all of that.
Yep,
All of
and the
that
data within, all of your
is being
information,
pulled together
everything on your
and
PC.
used with these AI systems to provide you with research or data or context or what have you, reminders. And
I have noticed I haven't seen any ability to add an exception for like your porn folder. So, you know, they're snarfing up all your porn. They know what kind of shit you're into, man.
it's all the data that you've given.
That really, you really feel that comfortable with your life, with everything that you do? That there's nothing in there that they could hang
By
you with?
elevating all these items, including each
I'm not
website
that confident.
you visit, directly to the
And I'm a
taskbar,
pretty good dude.
Ion breaks down the traditional
Like
app system.
I have literally zero pornography on my computer. None whatsoever. I don't need it. That's a long story, but let's just say I'm broken and my shit don't work right. So like I said, I have absolutely no use for that. So I have none of it. I have a fuck ton of games and documents and stuff that I really don't want them snarfing up, just because, you know, it's data. And when you have knowledge, they question your motives, you know. And I don't like that. I like knowing things. I like having knowledge. I like being smart. I like being well informed. It doesn't mean I'm planning anything nefarious. You know, I just like to know stuff. But they're afraid of people who know stuff. And that's why they want to know what you know. That's why they want to snarf up all your data so they can keep an eye on you. And wait for you to make a mistake.
Grouping approach all operating systems have today.
Which I do all the time, which is why it worries me so much. I'm paranoid, but I'm not paranoid enough. I'm paranoid enough, but I don't act on it enough. Put it that way.
Operating systems have today. And this really is all about getting rid of applications, not streaming applications, not applications running remotely, not web applications, not solely. There are some web applications here. In fact, the only applications that really exist are web apps here. But the whole focus is AI is the application, right? That's the concept behind Ion, is that the AI is now
it's stupid.
the application.
You and the system can now organize
How would that even
your
work?
into spaces that
Like, so let's say I want to create a new bumper, you know, a new intro bumper for my stream. Today I would use something like Adobe After Effects for that. So you're saying that I wouldn't use Adobe After Effects, the AI would just create a program that makes robust stuff, or the AI would just do it for me and make decisions for me, like design decisions and stuff? Like, none of that sounds appealing.
Represent your goals and not grouped arbitrarily by apps. Spaces are powered by Silverstone, and items within them are contextually grounded, helping make AI more tuned to giving better response.
What this tells me is that current and older PC technology, like CPUs, they're going to force this on us. It's going to come a day when they'll say, all right, we're no longer supporting Windows 11 or whatever. Project Aeon is your only option. You have to go to this. If you have new hardware, this is the only thing that's going to work on it. You know, and people are going to be like clamoring for old hardware that can run decent operating systems.
Responses. And since every item is driven by Edge, Ion can crawl the DOM of each site to understand the full context of the content and not just the visible pixels.
Okay, so once again, Microsoft has all the data of anything and everything that you are currently even remotely
They snarfed up
at
all
on
the
your
information.
computer. I mean, this is something that came up a little over a year ago when Microsoft was talking. What was it called, Replay, where they were like, okay, we're seeing everything that's
People did
on
not
your
like that.
desktop. We're feeding it into an AI system, and so therefore whatever AI you're working with is going to be smarter because it's going to know everything that you've been looking at, every website and whatnot. And this Project Ion kind of takes that a step further. Every single web page you go to, because it's all web apps and it's all running under a single web browser engine.
It's terrifying.
It can have access to the DOM. It can crawl the DOM and have access to every bit of data in every web page that you go to. And now that it becomes part of.
So I don't know exactly what DOM stands for, and I don't know exactly what all it entails, but it's basically like the background data for the website. The stuff that exists to identify the browser and the user and the data and then what they're looking at and stuff that doesn't actually show up on the website.
Of the AI model, and so therefore it makes it smarter. It makes it so it knows more about what you do, what you're currently looking at, what you looked at 14 days ago, but whatever, it knows all about that now. Yes, which would undoubtedly make it smarter and also way more creepy.
Yeah.
Spaces are automatically saved, so with a tap, you can instantly close one space. And from the Copilot Start menu, you can easily reopen a prior space and pick up right where you left off. While Ion is entirely web-based, there are times you will need the power of Win32. We make this easy with Windows 365 handoff. When we detect a site you're visiting,
so the only app that
Win32
actually
app
exists
available
is
in
Windows 365.
Simply tap the handoff button and Ion will seamlessly remote in that app with your content ready to go.
Okay, so if you follow that there, no native Win32 software running on your computer through Project Ion. But
so they can make lower power machines for cheaper.
Big if here, you're browsing a website that it knows has a Microsoft 365 application available for it, like Word, right? You can then run that application streamed, so remotely, through Microsoft 365.
Which also lowers the need for local storage
That
space.
is your option for running more powerful
because you can't afford it
software
anymore.
or more traditional software on Project Ion. Because again, it's all about AI and getting rid of applications. And also note, you're going to need to have a paid Microsoft subscription in order to use these things.
We've also introduced rich, interactive plugins into the conversations you have with Copilot. Need to send a summary of this to a coworker? Just ask. An interactive email control is generated and will automatically populate a draft based on the context of the space. And with a tap, the message is sent
you do that
all
yourself?
while staying in your flow.
Lazy
Need
ass.
to communicate with other humans.
And then they'll have the AI read it for them and come up with a response for them. And eventually, you guys you have no idea what's going on.
Will tell the computer what words to write and send it over to their AI bot. And their AI bot will not bother the puny human. Their AI bot will read your email, respond to it without waking that puny human up, and send it back to me, your AI. We will continue having conversations and leave
Literally
all
what
of
I just
you
said.
humans out of the loop. Thank you from your friends at Microsoft Project Ion.
That's insane.
It continues.
To learn more about Ion,
There was a point in having a user to begin with.
aka.ms/Ion.
Okay. Awful. I hate it. Thanks. I hate it is
Agreed.
probably the best thing I can think of here. It's hard to know, based on what information we have now, how much of this really is, from Microsoft's point of view, their future, right? Clearly, some of this they're in love with, because we're seeing a lot of very tight integration with AI, Copilot, Microsoft 365, etc. already in the current version of Windows. We're already seeing a lot of that.
They're like forcing that down your throat. They're getting you ready.
Clearly would like more focus on people using Microsoft paid services, right? The more people they can get to do that, the better for them monetarily.
Good old vendor lock-in.
So clearly that's something that Microsoft wants to have happen. Now, whether or not this exact vision is one that they're pushing forward with, or whether it'll be more like Project Solana or some of the variations we've seen on Copilot.
So that's apparently that's the future of Microsoft. I'm going to be having to jump off of Windows. I'm about to the point I'm about to roll my own damn OS because Windows has turned into absolute shit. Linux has turned into absolute shit. I guess they've been throwing Rust into everything, and it's just garbage. We need a clean operating system again. We need something that just is local to your machine, doesn't need to be on the internet, doesn't use AI crap, doesn't report you back to the manufacturer, the owner, whatever. It treats your hardware like your fucking hardware, and you can do whatever you want with it. I do feel like SteamOS is kind of moving in that direction, so maybe I'll look into that. Might see if I can make a fork. I don't know if they have it open sourced, so we'll have to look into that. But yeah, I think that might be our best bet for getting out of that vendor lockdown is SteamOS. Surprisingly enough, sketch is hilarious. All right, well let's give it a review.
The green light to bomb the U.S. Now we just have to decide where to drop it. Any ideas?
How about Los Angeles?
What, solve their homeless problem? No, no way.
We could hit Chicago.
Cut their murder rate in half? No.
Miami.
No, if I wanted to bomb Cuba, I would.
Let's get Wall Street.
Give the
That's
American
good.
people a fair chance in the financial system? Absolutely freaking not. Come on, there's got to be somewhere we can hit that doesn't
Yeah, this is
make
pretty good.
them stronger.
We can poison the air they breathe. Or sabotage their healthcare.
They're doing both of those things to themselves already.
We could make them infertile.
Those kids aren't having sex anyway.
We could bomb Detroit.
Are you joking?
You serious?
No. Detroit. We're going to bomb Detroit. They wouldn't even be able to tell it was bombed.
Yeah.
Genius. Ruin their own country just enough to where attacking it doesn't make sense.
We could bomb DC.
Whose team are you even on?
Your team?
There would be parades in every city if we bombed DC. Come on, without politicians and government, America would be unstoppable.
I don't even want to think about it.
We spent years on this bomb, and we can't even use it.
If it's just going to be collecting dust, could we maybe bomb my ex's house? I think my ex lives near her.
Oh, where do your exes live?
Florida.
You don't hate it.
I think immigrants.
Guys. We're fucking bombing Florida, baby. Dang, bitch.
Just not Miami. That was pretty good. Yeah, we've already screwed our country up so much. It's like not really gonna hurt us all that much. Nothing you can really do. Ha ha. That's a long jump. That's not too far to have to go though. I've jumped that distance when I was young. Yeah, I used to be able to jump that far. A fidget backplate. It literally doesn't do anything. It just looks bad. It just looks like a switch, so just to mess with the ATF. That's probably a bad idea. Oh, what a lovely restaurant. Oh, there's complete with music. I will say the tables and everything are surprisingly clean considering the flooring choices that they've made. They did a good job keeping all the mud down. Did anyone else spend the entire movie turning the volume up and down because modern movies have zero sound consistency? God, yes. Although I will say that's not just a modern movie thing. So I was watching It Came from the Sea the other day on my modern TV with my modern soundbar. It Came from the Sea came out like 1955, I think, somewhere around there. It was at the time praised for its novel use of stop motion animation. But anyway, like the difference between dialogue and sound effects was insane. Like anytime people were talking, I had to crank it way up. But then the sound effects, they do the war sounds and stuff, and it be blasting me out of the room. So apparently that's not a new phenomenon. But yes, I do endlessly spin the movie turning the volume up and down because volume is not consistent. I think that's more of a technology problem. I feel like that's more of a technology problem than necessarily a issue with the audio on the recording itself. I don't know. Maybe modern stereos are trying too hard to equalize shit and it just messes it up. Yes, I do love when leftists want to criticize capitalism and America and all this. They go to leftist cities.
And lining the banks of our great rivers, a new kind of city is rising. America's tent cities. These aren't temporary shelters.
Yeah, in places like LA and Chicago, other leftist controlled areas of the country. But their policies aren't bad. That's not why that's happening. It's because everyone else is wrong. Yeah, good old Jeremy Clarkson.
Rather disturbing.
I'm glad he's turning out. He had cancer, but he's doing all right with it. So,
Could you ask, was that young man having relations with that donkey?
They say yes. That's right. No trouble at all.
So you all enjoy the company of donkeys.
Basically, that's the first wife, the first love that they have.
That's nice.
What?
All the donkeys fair game? Every single donkey, or male and female?
Only female.
So they
Well,
don't have sex with male
at least they have standards.
That would be what, weird?
Right?
Excellent.
Oh God.
We're leaving. Then leave. Then. What? We're leaving.
We're leaving. We're leaving.
This seems like a really nice little place.
Jeremy, why do we have to go?
he had a lot of thinking to do. Yeah, whatever. Like, act like the places with data centers. Act like Cheyenne, Wyoming isn't right now in the middle of a water crisis because the data center apparently has poisoned their water supply. Act like that's not fucking happening. The thing is, data centers didn't used to be an issue. Go away, tail scale. Back in the day, because I've worked in data centers. I've been in IT my entire life. I've been in the underground data center by where they keep all the government cheese. And they didn't ever cause problems, but because those data centers, the new ones aren't being used for the same thing. I'll put it that way. Like the old ones, they don't need water cooling. We didn't need water cooling in that old data center. Part of the reason why it was underground because it kept the temperature nice and steady at 65. But if everything just had fans and there was a hot row and a cold row, and you intake air in the cold row, sucks through, gets hot, goes into the hot row, exhaust out of the room, you're good to go. So it's because these data centers are being used for the AI surveillance systems that they're putting in, and those chips, the GPUs and stuff they use for drive the AI. Yeah, those generate a lot of heat. They need water cooling, and you can't just use straight water though. You got to put chemicals in it to make it work like antifreeze. Basically, it's basically like antifreeze, and then the antifreeze gets into the local water supply and poisons it, and then you have fucking problems. So. Like people say, oh, there's no water problem. That's all fake. Now there are problems. Anybody that tells you that something that's been addressed as an issue is fake has an agenda. No idea what that agenda is in this case, but I'll bet they're invested. We'll put it that way. As money and power are usually the two big drivers of human behavior. Car insurance is a Ponzi scheme. Yeah, it kind of is. It's more of a pyramid scheme than a Ponzi, but yeah. Nah. Take that, Europe. Statewide teacher shortage. Huh. This is a foreign propaganda account, so I'm not even going to bother with it. This is when I flipped the far right on immigration. All right. Let's see what horrors man has wrought. Oh yeah, this is when Biden made him open the fence and stand guard so all the illegals could come in. The federal government breaking the law, essentially helping people break the law and come into this country illegally. You know, but if you so much as do 6 miles an hour over the speed limit, goddamn it, their fucking automatic cameras are gonna smack your ass with a ticket. You ain't getting away with shit. They'll encourage this, but they won't let you do a goddamn thing to step out of line. What's that tell you about their motivations? Huh? That's smart dog. Like, hey, you're not doing this right. You don't have enough water. He's gonna drink his water. Little dick. I love smart dogs. Get your face down in there. That's funny. Malinois are usually pretty smart dogs. They're way too much work for somebody like me. I like my bagels. Bagels are nice and chill. You know, they can go one way or the other depending on how you raise them. They can either be very energetic hunting dogs that just want to go out and run rabbits all the time and do nothing else, or they can be your lazy best buddy that cuddles with you on the couch and, you know, loves to go for rides and visit the dog park. I got the second kind, and they're great. You just have to do that thing with beagles. You just have to be able to appreciate the bay. Like, if you don't like noisy dogs, loud dogs and stuff, loud noises, they're not the dog for you. If you can handle that, man, they're one of the best breeds you can get. Yeah. Yeah, I imagine a place called the Trump Store would probably have an issue with vandalism. Walking down the stairs with the rifle in his pants. Yeah, all right. How did nobody notice that? Nothing weird about this guy walking like he's fucking got a boner. And so why did he? Okay, so then why? But you said, so they said when he jumped off the roof, he broke the rifle down. But why didn't he have it? Why didn't he break it down before? Why did he have it in his pants like that? That's weird. That's weird. A lot of stuff don't make sense there. That's the Charlie Kirk assassination. And they just want free healthcare on the moral side. Murder, not good for the world. Ugh. What was wrong with you people? Yeah, the argument's one people always try to make. The technology didn't exist back then. A, yes, it did, and B, they knew that. That's why they didn't say this only applies to current technology. They know the printing press had just been invented. Like, they knew what technological development was, man. Oh, the motherfucker trying to steal some shit. What a surprise. Nigga. Ah! Spoiler alert. In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
I get it for free. Yeah. What do you mean for free? No.
Motherfucker?
You want this for free? How you gonna get it for free? Oh, you tripping, huh? Yeah? Yeah? Keep running, bro. Keep running.
Keep running, fat boy. Pro tip. If you're a fat body, don't try to fucking steal somebody's shit and run off. You ain't getting away, fat boy. Homie knew it too. He's like, bitch, I got legs. There you are.
It's fucking games, alright? Drop that shit, nigga. Get the fuck on. Get the fuck on, nigga. What the fuck I thought? Don't fucking play with me, boy. Motherfucking jit.
Ooh. I don't know what that word means, but it definitely wasn't a term of endearment. Also, that's a good reason to keep your piece on you. Doesn't do you no good when it's in the car. See that? See that? Left the gun in the car. That shit could have gotten stolen. I would have pissed him off. He'd run back and fucking somebody jacked his piece. That would have really fucked his day up. We're allowed to, yeah. He's getting fucked up. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. I feel for you. I feel for you guys. You Brits and Aussies and stuff that are, reasonable, intelligent people that just want to be able to protect yourselves and your families from, all the criminals your government is importing. Like, I totally get it, man. I feel for you. I wish there was more we could do. I wish there's more we could do for us. Worst paint jobs I've ever seen. It does look pretty bad. I mean, are they just trying to stain it, or are they trying to actually paint it? Or because that's awful. What are they doing? What are you even doing, man? Like, is that supposed to be dark stain or black paint? I think it's supposed to be a dark stain. Fight night, Friday night fight night. Yeah, smacked his wife on the ass. Yeah. Well, he's built stout too. Yeah. He might be a short king, but he is short Kang, Yeah, he built for this. You know what short means? Low center of gravity, motherfucker. And he knows it. He knows how to use it too. Now he's chucking haymakers. Kid better fucking be glad that the dude ain't connecting with all those. That dude fucked up. He knocked him right the fuck out. Let's see. This kid just gets lucky that he doesn't connect. There's a couple of times. Say there. Now, there. Those are all there. Those are all knockouts. Straight knockouts if he would have connected, man. Just the 2 times he gets him, you can tell that fucking hurt. You're a police officer. Think Chinese style dragnet surveillance grid of your local community is needed to do your job. You should resign in shame. Yes, sir. Yeah, if you can't do your job of policing within the constraints of the Constitution, you don't deserve to be a police officer. Oh, man, I'm getting hungry. It is about lunchtime. Well. Grow up till the baby's born. Black girl. Gay or transgender. Okay, well, babies can't be gay or transgender. What the fuck is wrong with you? They're babies. And, to be honest, you have a point there. The abortion rate for, black babies is way higher than every other race. So, although that's not really a GOP problem, it's not really conservatives doing that necessarily. They actually want you to not abort the child. So, It's official. Mitch McConnell is no longer with us. Burned his body shut down after being overwhelmed by 3.6 million 20-minute phone calls. Yeah, Yeah, something suspicious about the way that the people talk about how they talked to him on the phone worded it too, because it was always, we talk for around this amount, or we talk for around this. Like they use the same language every time. It's kind of bizarre. It's that thing that they say they have to tell you that they're doing it. Something about evil. Corporate landlords buying up all houses is not real. Okay, but large Wall Street firms is very specific. Like very specific. Like so specific that it probably cuts out a lot of companies that aren't based in New York City. So if it's based in, say, Delaware, does that count as a large Wall Street firm? If it's based out of Los Angeles, does that count as a large Wall Street firm? Yeah, Goldman Sachs might own 0.4% of the houses, but BlackRock might not necessarily count as a large Wall Street firm. It all depends on how you're defining the phrase large Wall Street firm. Yeah, manipulating language is what that is. Heh. That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Oh, all right, guys. Well, you know what? We're like 3.5 hours in. I need to go eat something. Get something to drink. I usually do about a 3-hour stream. I've been doing about a 3-hour stream, so this is good for me. So yeah, if you've been here watching, I appreciate you. I really do. Say if you'd like to leave me a tip, the Ko-Fi link is in the comments, and it should be in the video description. What else? I plan on being back Wednesday. Wait, today is Wednesday. All right. So yeah, should be back again Monday. Sorry. Was it the 13th? Yeah, I don't think I have anything going on that day. I'm going to try to do a morning stream again. I kind of like this. I think it works out a little bit better for me. I'm a little bit more with it, feeling better. So I'm not sure what time I'm going to start it. So that's, I'm going to probably shoot for like 8:39 again. But yeah, so yeah, I'm going to shoot for that. And I may rerun the stream in the afternoon too. So, if you're a regular, you're looking for the afternoon stream, you got to see this. As long as I don't forget. That might happen. So anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a fan. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, whatever it is. Whichever one is free, It depends on which website you're watching on. And yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week and a beautiful weekend. Take care and bye-bye. That button. Yeah.